Testing, testing. Testing, testing. It's your boy Sal in the building. Testing, testing. Let people slowly come into the room. Yes, indeed. How's the stream looking? Let me know. Shout out to everybody. I hope you're enjoying what is going to be the evening into a great holiday for you. I know most people have tomorrow off. So shout out to the people who are going to get tomorrow off, man. Yes, indeed. Everything's good? All right. Yes, indeed. Shout out to the people coming into the room. Like I said, we're going to start doing this every Wednesday, just catching up and seeing how everybody's doing. Back in the building. Yes, indeed. Appreciate you guys helping me just to get regular again. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and turn the music off. Get regular again. All right. So, I mean, we're higher than where we were last week. That's the great thing. If you didn't get a chance to see the last video or one of the last videos I did with the rapper Waka Flocka Flame's $3 million trading account, ladies and gentlemen, he's up over $250,000 since that video. And again, not trying to check his pockets. I'm just, I did the video and I saw where the numbers were. And then I looked at where the numbers are now. Homeboy is caked up since that video. He's caked up. You know what I mean? And I've always told you guys about how trading is all about scale. The more you have, the more money you make at these percentage increases that we're seeing across the markets. Over a course of a couple days, we're going to a whole 1% move, 0.5% here, 0.3% here. Over the course of several days and weeks, that adds up. We're up well over 4% over the last month. 4% over the last month. Now, if you've only got, $1,000 in the SPY, that's not a lot of money. Now, if you got $3 million, you've got 30 million, you've got, you're running a $300 million fund, a $3 billion fund, then you can kind of see what, how incredible that could be if you are, in the position to be really macro focused on large caps, because those have been the winners so far. 50% of the move since September has been in about 8 stocks, most of them being the FANG stocks, and a couple biotechs as well, that I haven't had anybody really mention here that we'll go through on these ETFs for 2020. I think that the next coming months they remind me of 2017. Some of you guys may have been watching me back then, but we didn't really know what was happening when Donald Trump got elected. Like, we knew he was all about, making business easier, removing obstacles for miners and oil companies, clearing out what he believed was harmful regulation and involved with the environment, regarding the environment. But we didn't, you don't really see it, right? Well, especially when you don't really have the mindset, right? I really I didn't get the mindset down in terms of having a decent moving indicator and all of that up until maybe, I would say, beginning of last year. But beginning 2017, late 2016, when this man got elected, I wasn't there yet. I was just still in the OTC game. I'm just trying to get it how I live. What I'm seeing in the market right now is exactly what I saw in 2017. They are putting all the money in the game Donald Trump went somewhere last night, talked about how the market is up and how everybody's getting rich. Let me tell you something right now. They do not care how wide this wealth gap grows. They don't give a fuck. All the money is going in these indexes. They're using the market to build wealth for the people who are smart enough to put their money up in the market. And the time and place to be scared, the time and place to just be, aloof about what's going on, those times are over. This is really the only vehicle over the next 12 to 24 months, I'm thinking, that you're really going to be able to put some money somewhere and come back, and it's going to be a lot more than what you left. It's going to be a lot more than what you left. Obviously, I'm not talking about real estate, and I'm just talking about that they're giving the money away. They are giving the money away. Thank you, Life for a Business, saying money is cheap. The stock market will continue to go up. No, they won't allow another. We just protected ourselves from another recession, particularly when the cracks started happening in about September, right? Late September, the cracks started happening. And what did? They turned back on the printing machines. They turned back on the printing machines late September. And if you go and pull up right now, the Federal Reserve balance sheet, it shows it right there when they turn it back on. And you can clearly see it as night as day. Let me see if I can get a nice pic of it. But it's back. The printing press is back. You know what I'm saying? So get some of this cheap money, man. Get some of this cheap money, because Lord knows your job isn't trying to pay you anymore. So why not let the market pay you? We've got the Fed came out again and said another interest rate. 2020 is coming. And I said on Twitter, I would bet there's going to be more than one interest rate cut in 2020. There's going to be more than one. There's going to be more than one. Especially with the single digits that we have forecasted in terms of EPS growth. Low single digits. I mean, they're talking 3-4%, maybe even less than that. So they already have trouble supposedly on the horizon for Q1, right? For Q1. So I definitely suspect a possible number 2 cut is going to be on the works, on the block for the markets. I want to go into some ETFs that I think are going to be wonderful going into 2020. 6 months ago, recession talk was up in the air. I definitely knew I spoke a lot about it because, again, the government was not buying treasuries, was not propping up the market like it is now. And a recession was a real possible event. All right. We saw the 2 and 10 invert. We saw the signal. But now that's off the table because the government has stepped up and said, you know what? I'm going to artificially prop up the market to keep asset prices really high. Right? We're going to keep interest rates insanely low. Fuck all you people who live in the hood where we're coming for your properties, right? Because that's the only place to get beta, right? That's the only rate. I mean, that's the only place to get beta, unfortunately. If you're a real estate investor and you're trying to maximize profits, right? You've got no choice but to take that free money that they're giving you and go into a predominantly poor neighborhood near a area that could possibly be something one day, which is typically, an urban area, right? Forgotten, disenfranchised financially, economically. And that's where you can flip the money and get that 10x, get that 5x, that 3x, whatever that is. That's that's the only place to go. These corporations aren't paying taxes on their gains, right? So they're making all this money. They're all cash rich. We've got Warren Buffett sitting on $180 billion in cash. You can Google that. Cash money, $180 billion. I mean, I wouldn't know what to do with one. But $180 billion? It's crazy. Puts, calls, options, there's the money, absolutely. Some people still know how to do it. Again, nothing wrong with pennies. It's just that to be the winners, you got to be the promoter or the guy who's paying for the promotion. Absolutely, Dawson. Crazy, right? So let's talk about some of these ETFs, and then I want to get into your tickers. And we're going to look at some of these charts because while we're going up higher, we also have to remember that there is also an international marketplace. And in this international marketplace that has many tickers, many ETFs, definitely different sizes, different liquidity, they are also, have Federal Reserves or what's the actual word for it, but economic facilitators, right, in their country that are also propping up their markets. But it's very different because when you're in a third world country, first of all, they don't have anywhere near the GDP we do. So it's a very different kind of prop. It's more, life support when they do it. When we do it, it's just greed. I mean, we're just being greedy right now. You know what I mean? We've got individuals who just don't want to lose. So it's like, fuck it, I ain't trying to lose. So, go ahead and print it off because, again, if this all falls apart, doesn't matter. I have all the assets. I have all the things that are valuable by the time this is all said and done. And it's some real deep shit that's going on right now. I got to find a place to really put it out there. Can't be on YouTube. This is about to turn into a mini South Africa. Y'all, you better recognize what's going on. It's a concentration of wealth into the urban areas. And then what's going to happen is they're going to slowly just cut off services to the outside. So everybody's on the outside because now you got to commute to the suburbs and to the city, right? Because you've been gentrified out there. Wealth is concentrated. The opportunities have been concentrated, right? Developing and building all the services we want in the urban areas so we don't have to go anywhere else, right? Nobody's fucking with the mall anymore. We're just going to order it online and then have Jamal and, Laquanda drop it off to me at my house. All right, because that's the only people doing that kind of work for the most part. So it's some real deep ass shit, but that's another part, another time. All right. So let's get into these tickers. First and foremost, let's get EEM out the way. EEM, this is a really interesting one. Again, EEM has an Asia focus. And I want to say this is going to be a big winner if we get this trade deal done. I honestly don't think the trade deal will ever get done, but I do think we have weak hands and we're not going to follow through on the December 15th tariffs that supposedly are going to be coming on. I don't think we got it in us to move forward with that. There's been a lot of money made, right? I mean, you can pull up charts. There's been a lot of money made by the government in terms of the tariffs that we have put on. But for the most part, I don't think we got it in us to increase those. What I believe it's going to be $150 billion more I might be actually underestimating that number, but December 15th, that's a very, very important day. That's a very, very important day. And as we gain closer to that day, be very, very aware of how the markets could be affected by whether or not we, go through that day with the additional tariffs being added on, or if what I believe is going to happen, we show that we really don't have it in us, and we decide to withdraw those tariffs. All right. But I think EEM is going to be a huge winner if we do get it done. How do you think Trump signing the Hong Kong bill affects the market? I think it's very negative, especially to the hardliners, JL Turn. And if you go on my Twitter account right now, my last tweet is from the Deputy Minister of Information from China, where he's basically going in on the United States. He's calling the United States an aggressor. He's saying that the United States causes a lot of global oppression. So you've got a lot of hardliners in China that have been emboldened by what we just did. I thought that was a huge mistake. And I think that was just more proof that this China deal is nowhere near being done. And nowhere near a possibility, in my opinion, of being solved. All right. The fact that we had the United States Senate come out and say that Hong Kong and those protesters, those CIA-funded protesters, because that's what they are. Many of them are CIA, funded, indirectly or directly. But when you look at what's going on in Hong Kong, is the same shit that was going on in Libya, same shit that was going on in Iraq, same shit that was going on in Egypt, right? They just get a bunch of college students who ain't really got shit popping, get them to start a little organization, give them some money, and next thing you know, all hell breaks loose. It's the same shit over and over and over again, same play. The United States Senate came out and said, we support those students fight for democracy. Understand that China, many Chinese people, and I've said this, many Chinese people don't see people from Hong Kong as Chinese. You got a lot of people who live in Hong Kong that some of them don't even speak Chinese. Don't speak Mandarin, really. Don't speak Mandarin. And some of the words are a little bit different. The Chinese Communist Party also sees Hong Kong as a threat to their territorial integrity. It is incredibly dangerous for them to have this part of their nation where you've got, a couple 100,000, maybe 1 million people who speak fluent English, who do have the ability to speak Mandarin, some of them, and who have an allegiance to the European Western mentality. That's very dangerous to the Chinese Communist Party, because those are the kind of people that can be spies, right? They can do any kind of insurrections like what's going on right now. So don't be surprised, which I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, that we just see the military, 1980, whatever that happened back then, they just come in and just, start making motherfuckers disappear. I honestly think that could happen. They know it does. It's not a good look. They know it won't be a good look. I'm surprised they didn't do it already, because they should have done it like a month ago. They should have just went in there and be like, hey, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we don't want that smoke with China. We talk a big game, but we don't really want that smoke. Look how we ran away from Iran. You know what I mean? Iran shot down a couple drones and whoa, okay. Their missiles really find their targets. Now we don't talk about Iran anymore. Y'all see that? We don't talk about Iran anymore. You know, that's off the table now. We found out they have a real army over there. You know, they know how to shoot missiles over there. So again, EEM is the play when we show that we don't have the courage it takes to really go through with those tariffs. We've already promised and then fell through twice, right? There was twice. This will be our third time saying, yeah, we're going to put these tariffs off, and then it's not going to happen. I'm almost sure it's not going to happen. All right? EEM. Now, also, when you're looking at any emerging market ETF, and shout out to any Nigerians I have in here. This is the Nigerian ETF. That's really just all of a sudden came alive again. All about that cyclical global growth that is now hopefully maybe restarting. But again, very low volume here. It's still a very young ETF. It's a very young ETF. This just started in 2013. But then again, you see the kind of same volume numbers that you saw in SPY when that came out back in 93, 94. So, understand that when you're talking about these very young developing nations, in our lifetime, many of the people I'm speaking with right now, most of you guys are under the age of 50. These are the countries that are going to be hot as we get older because they have populations that are going to foster that growth. When you look at, for example, Nigeria, and I've studied them quite a bit, you have well over 65% of their population under the age of 18. That's crazy. That's a lot of young people. These people are going to need homes. They're going to need jobs. They're going to create opportunities. So it's going, they're not there yet, but their time is coming. As well as India, right? INDA. All right, here's India, INDA. All right, India, much more developed in terms of this ETF, INDA. Definitely a lot more volume. And looking at the monthly chart here, still working we're still kind of working our way out there, but you can see here 3 months straight of gains coming out of those lows. Not the biggest thing, but relatively somewhat liquid options. But I like EEM out of all of them just because you're going to get the liquidity on the option side as well as if you decide to just go for the stock. So EEM is going to be that big winner. And of course, yeah, you do have your yin and your yangs, and there are some other also ETFs that are leveraged that are give you more access to China as well. All right, what's that? I think it's the Ying. I think it's Ying, right? That gives you the. Is Ying still available? I know Yang was the bear. Yang was the bear, but there's Ying. Or is it YNN? Yeah, it's YNN. All right, but this is a leveraged ETF. It's a whole different way to trade that one. So, but there's definitely some ones that aren't leveraged that also give you that direct focus as well. Absolutely, Leon. A lot of money to be made there. But what I was going to say was you also want to focus on the dollar index. A lot of people don't know what the dollar index is. The dollar index is the U.S. dollar versus a basket of other currencies. All right, so it's the U.S. dollar. What you're looking at is the U.S. dollar versus a basket of other currencies. And there are many times when the U.S. dollar outperforms those currencies, and then there's sometimes when we don't, right? Where we do things artificially to, bring the dollar down in value. We know that we have a president who's been wanting the dollar to come down, right? Because when dollars come down, people outside of America can buy more U.S. products. And U.S.-made goods are highly favored in developing nations. They're considered to be products that are well-made and last, all right? And last. And right now, we're seeing the dollar still trending higher, well above the 10 moving average on the 10-month moving average. And we know basically anything above the 10-month moving average is something you need to be going long on, all right? You need to be going on long. So if we look at 2017, when we look at DXY, notice how, again, coming into office, right? We had some deregulation policy. We had who knows what he did or signed that got the dollar to lose value, right? And sure enough, if we were to go to EEM, right, and we look at 2017, right, when that started, and look at that. I mean, it's almost the complete opposite. So we know that when we see dollars lose value, then again, that means emerging market countries, which also have their debt denominated in US dollars, are able to, of course, pay off that debt a lot sooner, manage that debt a lot better, and make investments in their country that they otherwise may not be able to do in an environment where dollars are very expensive or dollars are rare. All right. For example, if you look at what's going on in Brazil right now, and Brazil, this is the one that I'm watching, but I've been hearing noise about Brazil having a dollar shortage, right? They're having trouble keeping dollars in their economy because, people are taking dollars out of Brazil right now. So definitely need a little more clarity on what's going on there. But Brazil is one that I'm watching, right? Absolutely. These emerging markets are going to be huge winners in our lifetime. We just got to be patient, but they're going to be big time winners. They have very young populations, and they're going to be responsible for the growth in the 50 to 100 years ahead. Hey, what's going on, Jeff? What's the best brokerage I can short sell penny stocks? Interactive Brokers. Hands down. Nobody's even close. Nobody's even close. Oh, no problem, Leon. Yeah, there's a ton of pre-foreclosure properties out there, man. I just wish I had more money. There, if I had an extra just like $250,000 laying around, I mean, I looked at the pre-foreclosure, some pre-foreclosure website, the actual foreclosure list here at the Mecklenburg County Court, and they're like 500 houses on that thing, man. And there were some properties that were like owed like $2,400, $20. I'm like, God damn, people losing their houses for $2,600. Shit, crazy, man, crazy. And when you see something that low, not to get off topic, but when you see that's somebody that's got a mortgage with not a lot on it, right? They barely have but the interest rate might be real fucked up. That's the problem, is that when you get some of those mortgages, they'll have some crazy interest rate, but the balance is so low, it's workable, It's workable. Yes, indeed. Happy holidays to everybody in here. Happy holidays to everybody in here. Demetrius, you as well, man. Yes, indeed. It's all good in the hood. All right? Did everybody see that Tesla truck? Not my thing. I mean, it's not, I'm not really feeling that. You know what I mean? I don't know if a brother could really get no play pulling up in that Tesla Cybertruck. You know what I'm saying? I need something that makes me look good. You know what I mean? I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really feeling that Cybertruck. But hey, it might get an upgrade before it comes out. And most of those cars do, right? I mean, they show the prototype, but what ends up coming out tends to be a little bit different. So we'll see what happens with that Tesla Cybertruck. And maybe real quick, yeah, that had the stock going to Pluto. Crazy the other day. All right, so back to my ETFs for 2020. The home builders. This is XHB. The home builders ETF. Now, this is a story that's been all about low interest rates, man. This is a story that's all about low interest rates, all about the fact that you got a lot of people out here who are going to be able to go out and buy their homes. I know there's a lot of people who unfortunately can't qualify for homes right now because unfortunately we're miseducated about credit and how to manage credit and how to use credit. So don't be surprised if next year, mid next year, lower next year, we're not going to go back to, ninja loans, right? No income, no, what was it? No income, no assets, something like that. No income, no assets. I think that was just Nina. Was it Nina or something like that? But we're going to go back to something where, if your credit is toe up from the flow up, you can still buy a home. We're going to go to something like that. I honestly suspect. I think we're a year or two away from something like that, because you're starting to see home prices. Although people are buying homes, the home prices really aren't getting as hot, right? Because what people are doing is like, okay, yeah, the rates are going down, but they're being even more picky because the money is cheap. So they really can't get the prices to where they wanted to get them to. And the only way they're going to be able to do that is to open up the floodgates in terms of who can buy. And what thing you'll notice when you study about what happened back in 06, 07 with people who were taking those, no income, stated assets, all that, was the fact that these people didn't really take price considerations, that importantly. They really didn't look at it and say, oh, well, how much is this? Because it's all about, well, I'm just going to get into the house. All right, I'm going to get into the house. I'll figure it out once I get in there. Or I'll be able to refinance into a lower rate at a fixed cost. That was the big thing back then. And that's also what helped drive prices higher, because people who aren't sophisticated, right, aren't necessarily they're not stringent on the actual cost of the property. All right. So I can see something like that happening. But again, another really good ETF that has been an incredible winner for the whole year. Many of these stocks, you're going to see many of these ETFs, rather, there is going to be an early December sell-off because we're kind of ahead of ourselves here. I mean, for example, if you just look at this on the monthly chart, we're a little ahead of ourselves. All right. I don't think so. Not so much here on the daily. This has actually been swinging sideways here as we attempt to break out here on XHB. But we should see an early December sell-off with a huge run going into the end of the year. Again, but that December 15th is going to be a big thing, though. Keep your eye on that. That's got to happen. All right. Next ticker, everybody knows. It's the SPY. I mean, look, it's been, I don't know where or what's been a better vehicle, probably QQQ, to put your money in over the last 20 to 25 years. I've had questions with my old man about, did anybody ever approach you about investing or anything like that when you first came to this country? And shout out to my Hispanic brother of another mother who called the other day. It's like, some people, they just weren't educated. And I had to ask my old man. He's like, yeah, nobody ever really got on him about it, talked to him about it, didn't even really know that it existed really for the first 5 to almost 10 years he was here. All right. Knew it was something out there, right, that you put your money in and then some way, somehow it kind of goes up over time. But the actual intricate details on how to get involved were not given to him. So it's been a huge missed opportunity for so many people who I think could have been huge beneficiaries. It's a missed opportunity for the financial industry for having all that capital that, would have been in the markets. But I also look at it another way. Maybe it was intentional, because somebody's got to be the buyer of the stock, and then somebody's got to be the buyer of all the crap the companies manufacture. And some groups, are left to their own whim, deny that information and say, hey, no, you're just going to be the consumer, right? You're just going to be the consumer group. You're going to be the group that works for very little money, but then just goes out and spends. That's it. You don't manufacture anything. You don't own anything. And you're the spend group. You're the spend group, and it's your job to produce the spending that generates the revenue for these stocks to go higher. Deep shit. Deep shit. That's the SPY. We're going to continue to go higher on that. All right. Again, we got some import-export risk with that, right? With the whole China situation. We also got next year. Again, most of the forecasts that came out this past quarter weren't that hot. I mean, some did forecast higher, but they were all single digits. All right, single digits, 3%, 4%. Does that justify some of these PEs that we'll talk about? We'll probably get a chance to talk about later. But some of these companies that have insane PE ratios. Let me see here. Walmart, right, with 23. All right, I think there was one that I saw that was really crazy. All right, Target with the 20. Was it Costco? Yeah, Costco at 37. I mean, that's an expensive stock for a company like Costco. That's pretty expensive. But as you can see here, it's been on a fucking tear. This thing has been insane. Look at that. All right, look at that. That's been an insane stock to be a part of over the last several years. I mean, if you're a smart, you're an employee that had a direct reinvestment plan, or you maybe just somebody who, again, was just watching the market. I mean, this has been an insane stock coming out of 1987, where, again, I mean, I don't know if there was some probably this is split adjusted more likely, but if there were any splits, if not, then, I mean, it's been an incredible stock to own since the early 90s, early 2000s. Duluth youngsters, it is happypennystocks@gmail.com. happypennystocks@gmail.com. Shout out to also all the people who signed up for my Millionaire Trading Academy, man. You know what I mean? I appreciate all of you guys who signed up. Again, that's where I'm teaching people how to trade futures for monthly income. We're looking to generate monthly income every single month. I don't care if you have $500. I don't care if you have $25,000. There are trades in the futures market that you can do that have practically no probability of any generous return in the stock or ETFs that you can do in the futures market and make money on. It's pretty insane. So it's a really interesting loophole that I think I've exploited and been able to put into that course. And I think it started at 49 videos. I'm now added a bunch of people like, oh, why are you adding so many videos? Well, it's a lot more that I've been learning as I continue to do it. And it's going to continue to become a much bigger course. So shout out to the people taking advantage of that, because we're in there trading gold, silver, crude, all at 70, 80, 90, 95% probability of success. So pretty crazy shit. Right. If you also, again, want to making sure you're always on the good graces of the SPY, you got to stay in front of it by following the VIX. The VIX is incredibly low right now. We're already, historically at low volatility. And that's why selling options and these iron condors that I've been teaching people are so lucrative right now, because volatility has been incredibly low. But how long will it be low? And as we can see here, when we tend to get to some of these lows, then you start to see some just real insane volatility come into the market. So, I don't want to say we're anywhere near close to any kind of danger signal. Today was really interesting for the VIX because we popped up a little bit, almost 2%. And after, 5 days of record highs, it could be time for a sell-off. So who knows where that's going. Nobody's going to predict the future here. But again, historically low volatility, and the VIX is a great way to be able to gauge where people are in terms of pricing of puts, right? Because that's what the VIX literally measures, is a visual and graphical representation of how much demand there is for S&P 500 index put options. That's literally what you're looking at. All right. Appreciate you, Javier. Appreciate you, man. BYND coming out with the vegan turkey. Look, I don't like to post. I only post lately. I've only been posting like when I make like 1,000 or 2,000, 3,000. Because if I posted how much I made on Beyond Meat, y'all won't even believe me, man. Y'all won't even believe me. I made a video on Beyond Meat at 100. What was that? I don't even know what was it at. I think it was at 160, 170. I called it the biggest pump and dump I've ever seen. And I was 100% right. Like so many other people. But how many people actually took advantage of the ride down? How many people took advantage of the ride down in here? We knew it was a scam. You knew it was a scam. I've been promoting pennies. I knew it. I'm looking at the numbers, and just common sense. Right? $16-17 billion valuation. I think it got to as high as 23, 24 maybe. But then only making like $200 million. Sorry, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. All right. So I didn't even post it because I'm like, man, they're not going to believe me, man. They're not going to believe me. Yeah, but Beyond Meat, Grubhub, I put my old man in. I said, look, this right here, this Grubhub, I'm telling you right now, it's one of the biggest frauds I've ever seen. This is a company that's paying like $4 to $5 for every $1 that they earn. This thing is falling apart. Grubhub is another one. What else? Macy's. I rode Macy's for a long time. I mean, this is a lot of, for all the stocks going up, there's a lot of shitty companies out there, guys. A lot of shitty companies out there. And it's not hard to find the companies that are struggling. Just look for the companies that are struggling while everybody else is winning. Everybody else is winning and they're struggling. Uber is going to be probably another one. Uber is another one. I'm thinking Uber. I'm seriously thinking that Uber might end up going to below 20, dude. If they lose this case in London, right? They're in the injunction or some kind of period right now where they got a couple days to kind of figure out what's going on. But the city of London said that Uber can no longer operate in that area, in that city. London happens to be well over 50%, that city alone, 50% of their revenues in Europe. Right? Think about it. Whether it be actual individuals there, right? Just the people within the city, but also travelers, international people visiting, and that's tourists. That's a lot of money that you unfortunately are going to lose out on. And cities like that are now looking at what's going on in London, they may replicate what's going on, try to ban Uber out of that, right? Because a lot of these taxi companies are, in there with the mob. They're in there also with the politicians. So Uber was a huge threat to a lot of these organized, I don't want to say not all of them are organized crime, but just these organized taxi groups that particularly that happened in New York with the yellow cabs that were, people bet their whole life savings on these medallions and driving a yellow cab, right? And Uber just crushed that. I mean, there are a bunch of videos on YouTube of all about that. Uber just crushed that shit. That medallion business. BYND looking for a quick pop to 100, now flat bottom. Okay. All right. Ooh, yeah, Beyond Meat is going to do their thing until they get a valuation that's fair. I mean, even at $5 billion, it might be still a little bit, a bit pricey, but not as bad as it was when it was at 240, 230. It was just ridiculous at those levels, 240, 230. It was ridiculous. You said you see Beyond Meat at 50. We'll see. I mean, I've been trying to find out any information on what's going on with them at McDonald's. Supposedly the taste test up in Canada hasn't been that great. But I mean, I don't know why they did it out in Canada. They just don't. I mean, these people, they eat different. I mean, they didn't even put it in like an area that's well populated or, very diverse. They just kind of put it out in the middle of, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. But that McDonald's move with Beyond Meat, that was supposed to be the play. And now they've kind of gone quiet on it. So I'm thinking it's not going so well. It's not going so well. All right. Let's keep it going. And another play is biotech. Again, biotech, I was watching. This is another stock I was watching. I was like, man, is this really going to head for that March breakout that failed that top up there back in March, and it just exploded out of that thing. And now we're looking at possible all-time highs in IBB. And that had a lot to do with, we had the first Chinese company, I think it was called Baijin, the first Chinese company that got an FDA-approved product just recently get purchased by Amzn. And I have shown Amzn here before. AMGE. This is an insane biotech. I mean, they just, obviously it helps when you have federal protection because, you can read into what's going on in Amgen. They've got some drugs that should be available for purchase in terms of, what's the word for it? Generics. There should be generics that somehow, some way, they've been able to orchestrate where the government has given them protection to continue. I mean, that's technically, I don't think it's illegal. It should be illegal, really. I mean, if you get your 7 years, right, patent protection, after your 7 years, it should be, particularly in medicine, right? Because in medicine, it's 7 years. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me on that, but it's 7 years. You make all the money, and then, somebody can make a generic off of it. But somehow Amgen's been able to stick with their patent protections. And of course, it's been helping people wealthy enough to own large amounts of the stock and people who only own a few way back when. And if you held on, you've been doing really, really good. Amgen just purchased a 20% stake in BG&E. And again, this is a Chinese company. It's a Chinese pharmaceutical company that has now an FDA-approved product, and that's huge. That's huge for a Chinese company to be able to do that. Because remember, for a long time, medicine from China was like, whoo, medicine from China. That was like a no-no, right? I mean, people think about China in terms of fakes and, so to have a Chinese company approved to sell medicine in the United States, or at least to have their products sold in the United States, I doubt it'll probably be produced there. More than likely be produced here. But again, we've got Amgen, which is a huge pharmaceutical company, has a 20% stake in that. And that's one of the biggest carriers in IBB. And I think they also, what's that? Is it VRTX? Yeah. Yeah, VRTX is another one too. I mean, god damn. VRTX is another one, that $56 billion pharmaceutical company. I've never even heard of this company. Has anybody heard of Vertex Pharmaceuticals? I've never even heard of this company. Heard of Amgen. Heard of some of the other ones. Vertex, I've never heard of Vertex. Never been big into biotech, but I know medicine. I know what some of the big pharmaceutical companies are, the Mercks of the world and whatnot, Pfizer's, but I had never heard of Vertex. But again, all of that and more you can get in IBB. Right? And these sector-based ETFs, they're not for you to go all in, right? They're really for you to be able to just to kind of get some exposure into that, right? Because we don't want to ever be, you can get some ETFs to go all in on, right? I mean, hell, I'd go all in on QQQ 10 years ago. I definitely would do that, or SPY or something like that. But these sector-based plays, just because, we're in an election cycle, is all these are very news, right, sensitive ETFs as well. So you definitely don't want to be all in on these sector-based ETFs. All right. Another low interest rate renter is going to be XLF. XLF, of course, your Bank of Americas, your Citigroups, your Goldman Sachs. Again, low interest rates. From what I've studied, right, independently, studying about the markets, low interest rates are supposed to help banks, but yet these interest rates have been helping the financials, which is I'm still have a hard time understanding that, because if I lend money and the cost to lend continues to go up, but the rate at which I can make profit on continues to go down, right? Because if I'm a prime customer, right? If I'm a prime customer, you're going to have to continue to pay me lower and lower as the interest rates go lower and lower, right? I get charged less. I'm a prime customer. And even if I'm not prime, right? Even if I got horrible credit, it becomes very hard for you to justify, paying or charging an outrageous interest rate, even though money is getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. But yet we still have that going on, particularly when you look at companies like Visa, right? Visa, MasterCard. That's why those stocks are running so hard, is because, yeah, absolutely, Money Mitch, man. This is exactly why I rock the chains like this. Money Mitch is my man, man. I love Money Mitch. He's my favorite character in that. They still gonna love me, man. They still gonna. I love that movie, man. But that's why Visa and MasterCard are running so good, because they're able to charge people 26, 27%, sometimes even worse, particularly when you got individuals who have some of those, I call them unbranded and kind of third tier cards, right? And these are the cards that are marketed to people in, again, economically destitute areas. These are these cards for people who have low credit to no credit, and their interest rates are ridiculous. They're like 36%, 46%. And you've got to like deposit money on it before you get it. And they sell you some kind of scam that, hey, if you make 12 payments in a row or 24 payments in a row, you may qualify for a better interest rate, which isn't that much better. It's still higher than any other name brand card. And what I used to teach in my felon class for brothers who had just came out when I was working with a church in Durham, is that there are many secured cards that some of these brands listed, like Citigroup, and they've got branded cards. You put up a couple $100, you get a credit, you get an actual secured credit card, and you won't have to mess around with those. But these companies like Visa and MasterCard make a lot of money on those third tier higher rate cards. Yes, indeed. American Express, isn't AXP, right, or something like that? Yeah, AXP is another one. I mean, this is another one. But American Express is different. I mean, I think American Express do they still have that prepaid Walmart card, that bullshit? They had that prepaid Walmart card for a while. I don't know if they were still, but I remember seeing that way back when. I think it was like 2012, 2013. JP Morgan, JP Morgan's another one. JP Morgan, again, you can get it in XLF. All right, you can get it in XLF. All right. What's that bank out in, is it Germany or something that's falling apart? That's B something, right? It's like somebody can tell me what that is. I know it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it. But I thought JP Morgan was interested in them. But yeah, huge. Look at this huge move this month by JP Morgan. So this is another one that's overstretched. It's kind of looking like Apple here. Where again, you've just got this straight move higher. And again, when you lower the cost of money and you are indebted, right? When you look at some of those companies that are on the Russell, right? Like IWM, all right? You look at some of these companies that are in IWM, and IWM had been going nowhere for practically all year, and all of a sudden this month is deciding to make a move. Because now we got that bet that, again, lower interest rate, another cut next year. And again, I'm betting now, I'm going to say it right now, that we're going to get another cut, more than the one they're promising. They can't go higher, right? We can't go back up. Whatever they saying to you is a lie. We're not going back higher. We're going straight to zero. Thank you, Candace. Deutsche Bank. Yeah, DB is the ticker for that. And we're going straight to zero because they can't go higher. They're too, these balance sheets, yeah, they're cash rich. And I'm thinking, well, if you're so cash rich, pay off your debt. They're not paying off the debt. So that tells me, A, they're not paying off the debt because they feel like if they pay off the debt, they're not generating a real growth. It's not a real growth strategy behind the business. Or what they fear is that, or what they plan to do, which we would already been seeing, is that the acquisition way is the way to kind of facilitate growth. What a lot of companies do, they get so big after a while, is that they can't do what they do in the growth stage, right? Which is those double digit. For example, if you think about not Nike, but Under Armour, right? Under Armour was very popular because they went 20 quarters with double digit earnings growth. Double digits, huge, right? But you get to a point where you get to a Nike level where you can't do that no more, right? You can't put up those kind of numbers. So you just go out and buy something. You just go out and buy another brand that's in your business, right? That can do that with your capital, and you can use those gains, those profits, to pad yours. All right. So now you look like a valuable company still. All right. But it's really coming from all of those subsidiaries. That's why you'll see these companies that have 20, 30 subsidiaries. That's basically how that happens. Absolutely. Growth to value company. But I mean, you can still get growth. Just go to IWF. IWF, these are Russell, it's the Russell 1000, but these are growth companies. So a lot of people don't know about IWF, but IWF, this is another one that I got my folks in. This one, it keeps out the bullshit. So in this IWF, you get the Apples, you get the Amazon, you get Microsoft, you get, a lot of people don't know, this is a Russell. This is a Russell ETF, but you get the growth plays. Right? So it's the no bullshit version of IWM. Because IWM has a lot of bullshit in it. It has a lot of shitty companies, horrible companies like CRC. I mean, companies like this, California Resource. I mean, and oil. I got to do a show on oil because oil in America is a disaster waiting to happen. What these Saudis have done has been amazing because a couple years ago, we came online. Everybody was so excited. America has its own oil industry, and these Saudis have just killed the America's oil system. I mean, oil business. I mean, because price of oil and all that. I think they said it minimum has to be maybe like 65 or something like that for U.S. base to be profitable. To actually be profitable, it has to be about 65 a barrel. We're at 57, 80, something like that. So many of these oil companies have taken on so much debt, and there's really no hope in sight for higher crude prices. So it's been insane. 50 Desert X, what do you mean? What's 50? Quick topic, brother. Talking to this chick, she says she gets really wet, but I know her kids have eczema. What? Man, we'll talk about that in a minute, man. This guy's over here talking about some pussy. The oil was saving. Yeah, well, I mean, look, and that's why again the Saudis are going public in Saudi Arabia. They don't want to come public here. And I'm going to continue to repeat why. The reason why Saudi Arabia is going public in Saudi Arabia is because Saudi Arabia doesn't have any disclosure laws. In America, if you go public, you have to disclose your assets as a public company, right? You have to tell me what is it you owe, right, to other people, and what is it you own, right? What do you owe to other people? What do you own in terms of what's your balance sheet? What are those assets? How much are those assets valued at? And when you're an oil company, you also have to tell me, right, the properties you own, right, where you extract your oil, how much oil do you think is in there? How much oil do you think is in there by your best estimate? Right? And it has to be by your best estimate, because if it's not right, I can sue you. Right? That means you lied to me. All right. So why I think the Arabs are not willing to come to the U.S. exchange, which should be their primary focus. They should be wanting to come here. This is where all the money's at. No, not sneaking fake numbers. There's so much oil over there. There's no justification for a $57 price of oil. There's people, you can read some of these blogs. I've read some. There are people who are saying there are trillions of barrels of oil over there. And if we knew exactly how much, and again, the Saudi government has never, ever publicly, right, ever publicly given how much oil there actually is in Saudi Arabia. If we knew, man, I think this would be probably a single digit commodity, man. Single digit price commodity. If we knew that there's that much out there, that it's not some kind of finite. I mean, it's like air. If we knew it was like air, we couldn't charge for it. You couldn't charge for it. You know? It's crazy stuff. Do the Saudis have a stock that they use? It's not public yet. They're going public any day now. I'm not sure what the date is on it, but it's going to be probably one of the biggest IPOs in history. But again, it would be even bigger if they had came over here to the U.S. stock, but they didn't want to. They didn't want to put those numbers out. The whole world trying to pump out as much oil as possible while oil is still being used. Well, there's more than enough oil out there for everybody. Remember, we had an oil industry in this country. All right, that's where Standard Oil comes from. We had an oil industry in this country. And then thanks to Standard Oil, they went out there to the Middle East and built them up. All right, they built them up. And through the chaos of doing business in the Middle East, they found this one family that had weapons and some men who were willing to fight for the oil company. And they said, okay, we're going to choose you. We're going to choose this family. And they made them the royal family of Saudi Arabia. They gave them money, and their job was to protect the oil fields and let America do its thing. Eventually, they bought us out, and now it's, they own the whole thing. But there's still considerable stake. All right. Absolutely. World's trying to use, all these families, by the way, that are connected to Standard Oil. I mean, the guy who's like number 10 at Standard Oil, his family's still not working. His family's still loaded. Right after the breakup, some people got Marathon stock, some people got Exxon, some people got this, that, and that. Shell, Royal Dutch. Everybody got something. Most of these companies, these families are still incredibly wealthy. In fact, Howard Hughes' family, They got, I didn't know. I read a book on this. Howard Hughes started a technology company, and that technology company eventually became DirecTV. DirecTV eventually got bought out. I forgot by who. But many of those people who were, involved in the Howard Hughes family and their businesses are still very much independently wealthy people. Incredible stuff. Renewable energy ETF. Yeah. Give me some renewable energy ETFs. I don't have much on the top of my mind. All right. I used to follow them pretty big in 2016, but they kind of fell out of favor with me. XLI. This is the Industrial Select ETF. All right, giving you access to basically a cheap form of DJI. All right. But this is our industrials doing very well. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the Federal Reserve, the President of the United States, they're giving you the money. They're giving it to you. So there's no excuse to be. I don't care if you have just $500. I know you're not going to get much from it, but get yourself some calls. Go out as far as you can. Go out as deep in the money as you can. Wait till wait till you get a nice little pullback here. We should get an early December pullback here, so you get a nice price. Right? Every pullback is a buy. Right? Every pullback is a buy for the next 12 months at least. Every pullback should be a buy. Right? That's why we can't even get a decent sell-off. That's why we can't get an even decent sell-off. You wake up in the morning, all right, we're down maybe 5 or 10, and the next thing you know, we're green again. We can't get a decent sell-off. Why? Because they're giving you the money. They're printing up the treasuries. Printing up the money. One second, man. Let me answer this. I already know every time my daughter's mother wants to start some BS, I've been trying to call you and it's going straight to voicemail, so I assume you had me blocked or you just didn't want to be bothered. See, why they start drama? You can go on the internet and see me live. They're just always trying to do something to get my attention, man. God, I can't stand women sometimes, man. How are you able to send me a text and you blocked? Oh, God, people are so stupid, man. XLF or XLI is what I was talking about. Again, another good winner, right? Again, what I'm putting out information on is right here. It's for people who just need to put some money somewhere set aside and get the easy returns. The easy returns, because that's where the money's going. Because when you get into these ETFs that have a lot of volume, you're buying and you're rolling with people who have billion-dollar funds. You know what I'm saying? Sovereign funds, some of them. All right. I know they're the designer ETFs and all that. They're just, but they have very low volume. That's not where you want to get, because you're not getting good pricing. You know what I mean? That's why you really want to stay with the liquidity, because liquidity, it gives you the pricing power you need. The pricing transparency, rather. All right. Many of these stocks that are low flow, not low float, but low volume, they don't offer real price transparency. You don't know if you're getting a really great price because you don't have many buyers and sellers. It's not a clear market. It's not a clear market. So give you a 10% pullback, not happening. Not happening. If we go through with the tariffs, you might get that, but from what I'm thinking, that's not going to happen. All right, that's not what I'm going to have. It's not going to happen. Let's keep it going. MTUM. This is a really interesting one too, because this is another one that's pretty liquid. Whether what can I say about this? This one it's a momentum-based ETF, where the average PE ratio, because I just call it a growth ETF, because it's really the average PE ratio of a product that's in this is 31. I looked it up. It's 31. So you've got a lot of hot companies in here in MTUM. A lot of hot companies in here. All right. Yeah, really good mixture of technology, a little bit of financial services, but at the end of the day, really, really well-known companies, and it's got great liquidity. But I don't know. I don't think the options are crazy liquid. So that's why if I had to choose between MTUM and the SPY, I'd probably go SPY if you're going with the options. If that's what you just want to play, or excuse me, QQQ rather. Excuse me, QQQ. I wouldn't compare this to SPY. I'd compare this more to QQQ than SPY for sure. All right. In fact, I probably think they got very similar charts. Yeah, QQQ for sure. But MTUM is just a cheaper version. All right, it's just a cheaper version, particularly if you're going just to buy shares. All right, if you're just going in the market to buy shares, then MTUM will give you the same kind of play. All right. Yes, indeed. All right. So those are my 10 ETFs for 2020 that I think are going to be incredibly red hot. And again, ladies and gentlemen, they're giving you the money. I mean, this isn't, you're not trying to time the top. It ain't no top, man. It's straight up. Now I'm selling puts because I think I have a hard time buying calls. I just have a hard time buying calls. All right. Because I get real pissed when they go down, right? Because when you have them down days and you're in a call option, depending on how hard it pulls back, it can be really painful. But I can sell some damn puts for sure. And what's great about selling puts, again, another thing that I'm teaching at the Millionaire Trading Academy, is that you can go far out from the price. Right? You can. We're at, obviously we're going to do it on the futures options, but if I had to do it on the SPY, I can go out now and sell 310s. So I can sell 312s for a month from now or 2 months from now. All right, those have quite a bit of value on it. I wouldn't doubt. All right, you can start selling those now based on what we know about what's going on with the markets, and there are a lot of people that are selling those right now. When you look at what's going on in terms of who's playing those strike prices. What do I think about WWE? I mean, I'm kind of low-key surprised they're still in business, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know what was going on here. I do remember when it was taken off and a lot of people talking about it. But the WWE, man, I've actually been surprised how long they've been in business, because everybody knows it's fake, right? So, but it is entertaining. If you've ever been to a WWE show, it is entertaining as hell. And they really do make it an experience. So it's definitely something you want to take a loved one to, because it's one that you definitely will remember. All right? But don't know too much about the company to really give an analysis. Something took place there. I don't know if it was a missed earnings or what. So you might want to go back and read that. Again, marketbeat.com. Marketbeat.com is a really great site to kind of pinpoint on that, because they got really great information that's just poignant and all that. Also, there's another company that emailed me, Atom Finance, ATOM Finance. I think it's literally like atom.finance, but they got a really cool graphical interface and stuff like that. And they got some really great information you can pull up on that site as well. Roku, yeah, Roku's a monster, man. Roku, look, Roku is undefeated when it's come to facing me. You know what I mean? Roku's a winner, man. Roku is a winner. It's a long-term winner. You don't have It's a software as a service, basically. You sell this box, which has different providers, right, of content on it. It's a wonderful platform. It's an incredibly wonderful platform, right? Right, because you do have a lot of televisions that unfortunately aren't smart televisions, right? Think about offices. Think about hotels, right? Hotels. I mean, I can't tell you. God damn, what happened? What's up with my chat room? Sorry, my mini took your phone. Okay, LK Rod, yeah. Let me. God damn. Hold on. Oh, god damn, man. Hold on. God damn. Okay, my. Sorry about that. There's people watching. I know. Yeah, we accidentally. Let me make sure that I unhide these people. Okay. It's cool. Let me unhide these people real quick here. Message deleted by. Okay. Okay, Dawson, you good? My bad, folks. Let me just go ahead and get this fixed here. Yeah, because some of these people been rocking with me for years, so we gotta get this corrected. Mark 1 DC, yeah, absolutely, Mark 1. I definitely do believe in a great pullback that could be happening. Well, not great in terms of intensity, but just in terms of the opportunity that's going to happen. The opportunity. Okay, everybody should be able to post now. Everybody should be able to post. All right. Let me get everybody to post. Just post something real quick, man. So I can make sure that I can see you. All right, because the feedback is really important for the show. Candace, if you're watching, if you can post something, I appreciate you. Desert Edge, if you can do that too. What do I think will happen if the Democrats win? All this falls apart. The market falls apart. Well, I don't know. Hold up. Depends which one of the Democrats win. There we go. Let me say that first. It depends on which one. Because if it's Bernie Sanders, all this shit falls apart. If it's what's his name? Butt plug. And if it's butt plug, then I think he's a corporatist. I think he's more. He reminds me a lot of Obama in terms of politically, not in any other way, but politically, butt plug reminds me of Obama. Elizabeth Warren, yeah, Elizabeth Warren too. Elizabeth Warren, I think she low key might be fronting too, because she used to be a Republican. So I'm always I kind of side eye people who they were one way and all of a sudden they're a whole different way. Like when a motherfucker was really like was a coon, and then all of a sudden now he's woke all of a sudden. I'm always side eyeing people like that. That's how I think she is. You're a coon, and now all of a sudden you trying to spit some real game and trying to front like you really, you're really woke. All right, let me see here. All right, Desert Edge. I don't see Desert Edge. I might have to, after the show, work on that. So I apologize, Desert Edge, if you're typing in something and you can't. But I'm definitely going to get that fixed to make sure that I just did a screenshot. You said you're hoping Bloomberg wins? He's a joke too. Let me tell you something, man. Mr. Stop and Frisk is not going to be president of the United States. He's not going to win in the Democratic Party, man. Mr. Stop and Frisk himself. Come on, man. Are you for real? If Michael Bloomberg, if the police were a dick, Michael Bloomberg will be the balls, bro. That's how close to the police he is. Okay, Desert Edge Glad. That's how close to the police. And Democrats don't really fuck with 12 like that. Let's just be honest, man. Democrats in general really don't like the police. That's probably the one. If there's one thing that links all these little groups together like that, Democrats really don't like the police, man. They don't really like law enforcement. Whether it's the liberals out in Berkeley, that Berkeley liberal type, the Wall Street liberal, they don't really fuck with the police like that. That's more conservative kind of, and the conservatives don't do shit for them anyway, because they be cutting taxes that end up getting a lot of these officers laid off, but they're not smart enough to see it. That's a whole different conversation, though. Nah, it's cool. LK Raw shit happens. You hope but Bloomberg is not going to help it, and he's going to help Trump win. Bloomberg is going to help Trump. He's basically trying to help Trump. He's low key trying to help Trump. All right, and then you had this brothers wannabe Obama also running too. Duvall. And he's just a plantation. He's just a house Negro. He's a house Negro. One of them Jack and Jill types. You can see that from a mile away, Fight the power when he's in a room full of black folks. But when he's, in a room full of white people, it's, hey, how's the NASDAQ doing today? You know what I mean? I know those types. But that's what would happen if the Democrats win, man. That's what would happen if the Democrats win. Said Trump 2020. We'll see, man. We'll see. I really don't care what happens. I'm just going to trade the charts. I don't care who wins. Just trade the chart. One thing I've learned living in a big town, small town, sometimes there's just certain things. Washington is just too far away for it to really touch you like that. If you really sit back and notice, a lot of things really don't change. To get so emotionally invested. A lot of things really don't change. As a New Yorker, that's the no from me. Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, Bloomberg is not even close. But more importantly, again, he's, the dude is 5'6". When they put him on that stage, it's going to be I think a lot of people are going to be shocked, because when you look at Michael Bloomberg, what the media does is they help him a lot by zooming in on him. Every time you see Michael Bloomberg, whether it be on some YouTube videos, when he's back in the mayor, they always zoom in close to him. And when they do shots of him, you'll notice very rarely do they have men around, like behind him or something. It's usually to his, he's one of those guys who's protected by the media, because a lot of media personalities think, hey, man, I might work for this guy one day. He might be cutting my check one day. Because he owns Bloomberg News. Huge media operation. All right, that I actually like. I like Bloomberg more than I like CNBC sometimes. Because CNBC just be saying the same shit over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Oh, BFCH now Puro. Okay. Let me see. Let me just look at this real OTC for a second here. Oh, okay. BFCH. Yeah. Puro turned into BCH. Man, I feel sorry for Bitcoin, man. But hey, look, I'm a buyer of Bitcoin at below 2,000 though. I'll buy some Bitcoin at 2,000. I'll buy some Bitcoin at 2,000. Javier says small float. That's what's up, man. Do your thing. I'm a buyer of Bitcoin at 2,000. I'm not even going to front. If it gets down to 2, I'll take a swing. I'll take a swing at 2,000. Yes, indeed. All right. But yeah, they need to stop playing because Pete Buttplug Pete Buttigieg. Oh, sorry, Pete Buttigieg. Okay, I was calling him Pete Buttplug. But yeah. Let's keep it going. So, guys, you give me your tickers. Give me your tickers again. You know, all I'm doing right now is I'm selling puts in E-mini S&P 500 futures options. I'm selling puts in there. I'm selling 3,000 puts. I don't doubt we'll go back to 3,000 anytime soon. But looking for a pullback to possibly test 30.50 or something like that where I can go in and buy more. All right. But I know I still got a lot of OTC people up in here. Givo, god damn. People still trade this shit? People still trade Givo? Man, I used to follow Givo religiously. I don't even know what. God damn. Yeah, Givo is one of those, it's an alternative fuels play. They had something going on with Alaska Airlines like 3 years ago. And I don't know what's happened with that, but as you can see, they've clearly had some rough times. Let me get out of this longer time frame. Boy. Yeah, it's been a rough fall for them, clearly. Been a very rough fall for them. It said Dries is finally off the market. They'll be back. They'll be back. One thing about rich folks, as wealthy as that man is, he'll find another vehicle. He'll be right back. This is the greatest wealth building vehicle in the world outside of real estate. They'll be back some kind of way, whether it be reorganization through another company. You know, it's not like he doesn't have the money to go buy some OTC trash and get into and come right back. What's going on, Londale? Yes, sir. Been a minute. Yes, indeed. So before I get up out of here, yeah, let me know what other tickers you guys are looking at, man. You know. Damn, man. It's attention seeking. Is it? You said head from Bad Scientist? What? Shout out to Bad Scientist, by the way. Is he still running that is he still running his because I think he had got his own like message board or something like that? Yeah, I mean I talk to them regularly on Twitter. And Ken, I talk to Ken more than Bad Scientist. Shout out to Ken. Yeah, but I talk to them all the time on Twitter. Follow them on Twitter. They post a lot of good stuff there. You know what I'm saying? But they are all doing, you know, Bats. He's got 3 kids and a family and all that, so he's got a whole bunch of things going on. Ken, the same thing too. He's got a lot of things going on. Okay, yes, but it's quiet down. Well, yeah, that's the thing, man. I mean, that's like everything. At the beginning, you get a lot of people who are like, whoa, 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 whoa. But then, eventually you're going to get to a phase where it's like, okay, who really loves this shit? who really, really loves this shit. And a lot of guys, they think they want to make some money in the market, but they don't really want to put in the work, and they don't really love the game like that. You know what I mean? They don't really love the game like that. And it shows over time, man. It just shows over time in dedication, commitment to process, commitment to seeking out and learning knowledge, and the application of the knowledge that you're being taught. Some people just don't love it like that, man. And it's really unfortunate because they miss out on an incredible wealth building vehicle. Because as I've said, if you focus on 4% a month, if you 4% a month is very bold, but 4% a month over 30 years will make you a millionaire. All right, it doubles your money every 2 years. The least amount of money you have, actually, the better it is, because eventually you'll get to a point where it's a bit harder to invest, right? Because you've got a lot more money. But if you can work on 4% a year, so at the beginning that does mean aggressively finding opportunities. All right, 4% really isn't, 4% a month really isn't. I don't want to say it's not hard, but if you know where to look, it's really not hard. And again, if you're looking at a lot of the non-directional trading strategies that I teach in my course, 4% is not. I don't want to say it's easy, but it's not that hard. It's not that hard to get. All right, particularly if you have less than 10 grand. If you have less than 10 grand, a lot of people start to think, oh, how much money they don't have. Look at the possibilities you have of generating a return because you have such little money. It's so high. It's so high. It's people who have a lot of money that, they've got to stay up at night because, their risk is so much higher. There's a lot that can go wrong. They've got to place their money in so many different places because they can't risk being all at one spot. Unlike you, if you got, a couple $1,000, $2,500, $33,000, you're under the age of 30, you're under the age of 40, put yourself into some crude options or some, SPY or whatever it is, and you're good. But a guy who's sitting on 30, 35 million, 15, 20 million, he's got to be in, he's got to have, his account looks like a ledger, it looks like a Bitcoin ledger because he's got to be in so many different places in order to hedge his risk. So starting with nothing sometimes can be a blessing if you understand how compound interest can help you. All right, but what happens is so many times people who don't have a lot of money, they just looking at, God, how can I be? I need some M's right now. I need to, I need to make 20,000, 30,000. No. You just need to get something going, and get it going consistently. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, okay, right, absolutely, yeah. If it does take a while for people, a lot of times to see a return, particularly if you're learning on your own, and you don't have a hands-on mentor or anything like that. Yeah, taxes is a whole different thing, man. I just leave that to other people to worry about. But you definitely do want to, get yourself a vehicle like an LLC or something like that, because I did see a big difference in taxes when I got incorporated. All right, and then there's also a difference with futures options too, because standard options is 60%, right? So if if you just hit up, you make a lick for 1,000, right? 60% of that goes. No, is it 40? I think I might be tripping on that, but I want to say, is it 60%? 60%, I believe, is the taxes on that. No, 60% is taxable. Excuse me. 60% is taxed of your gain is taxed. But then on futures options, it's split 60-40, right? Where only 40% is taxed. It's weird. It's weird. You're gonna have to speak to an accountant about that, but he was explaining it to me that, hey, you messing around with futures is better than stocks. Appreciate you, House of Cars. Eban R, what's up, man? Long time listener. I appreciate you. Y'all press like on this video though, man. Give me some likes. Get these likes up. I don't even know. I can't even tell how many I have, but I appreciate every like I can get. Well, I try to bring this channel back up. Appreciate you. All right. And those people who bought, again, my trading course, definitely some new videos coming this. I know most of you guys have already blazed through it, but, every couple of weeks, check back in there because there's always going to be some new additions. Some new additions in there. But I added a video on trading the 10-year interest rate, actually the 30-year. How to trade the 30-year rate. Let me see here. It's actually can I do that? Let me see if I just let me skip to the 30-year. Is it gonna let me do it? Let me see here. One second, guys. There we go. This is the U.S. the 30-year bonds, and you can actually trade these just like anything else. You can trade these just like SPY and all those. You can do that too, and they're very. I also offer leverage as well as, and I teach all of that into the course too, how to trade these. And these are continuing to go. Should continue to go lower as the government continues to buoy them. All right, so we should see that continue to go pretty low as the government continues to buy them. All right, if we look at the monthly chart, right? All right. Actually go higher, excuse me, go higher. They'll actually go higher. So as the government buys, they'll pay more, all right, to keep interest rates higher. Yeah, a lot of information, man. I dropped a lot of information. What white line? What do you mean? Oh, 2.492. Is that what you're talking about? Is that what this white line here? This is the 10 moving average. Oh, this is the 10 moving average. 10 moving average. All right. The 10-month moving average. So the 10-month moving average is, in my opinion, it's an incredibly profitable moving average for a monthly chart. The 10-month moving average. I mean, I've nailed some incredible winners using the 10-month moving average. And a lot of people use other ones, but again, I've always used my 10 and 25 method to get in and out of incredible setups. Juan Diaz, you said you want to pump stock, man. It's might be a little harder to do now. It's just a little harder to do now, but back in the day it was a lot easier. But just build a YouTube page, build a fan base, be honest about what you're doing, and they'll come. And then you got to deliver tickers that are actually going to make them money, right? You're always going to have some losers, but you actually do have to deliver results. You do have to have more people who are winning than more people that are losing at your trades. Otherwise, they'll never come back to you. All right. So I know the market is closed tomorrow. Everybody, I hope, is getting ready to eat something good tomorrow. Definitely looking to spend some time with my girl's family down in South Carolina. And I'll be close to the Charleston area. That food better be good, man, because they've been telling me all about how good food is in South Carolina, blah, blah, blah. It better be good. All I have to say is better be good. They've been giving a lot of mouth about that. So I'm looking forward to getting that sweet potato pie, some baked macaroni and cheese, all of that. And some good turkey, of course. You say eating ice cream was hilarious. All right, so shout out to everybody who joined me in the chat room today. I appreciate you. You didn't have to be here, but you were. Just trying to get regular again at this, man. I think I burned myself out for a while. They're doing it back to back to back. But I was learning so much. I was just learning so much, but I just eventually got burnt out. So I'm just trying to get regular again. Just trying to be consistent again. Building this course definitely helped, man, because really putting your knowledge on paper helps. And a lot of people really appreciated it already. I've already got a bunch of people who've already made trades, and those trades are doing their thing. So, and we kind of talked about how, again, what's great about trading those kind of products that, you don't have to be on the equity side of anything, right? For example, if we know that emerging markets still aren't where they need to be, then we can trade crude. All right, we can trade crude because we know crude is going to be moving sideways until we get real productivity growth that we need to really see to see higher prices. All right. So we can place trades right now in crude that will, maybe not that low, but will protect us from just not having to find out where the top is going to be in the markets, because it really doesn't matter, right? We know that the stock market doesn't really affect the price of crude per se. We've got unique kind of effect, macro effects there that have to do with other countries, dictators, terrorism, that don't necessarily have to do with what Microsoft is doing so it's a very unique play, and you can earn income on crude like crazy right now, because we've got historically low volatility going on in crude. You got to go all the way back to the early 90s to see the kind of volatility that we are having right now in crude. I mean, you look at the last, since 2008 to 2016, we're all over the place. All right. So volatility has really calmed down in crude. So some of those non-directional trading strategies that I've been teaching, you say between 50 and 60. Yeah, between 50 and 60 is fine. I like to go wider out just because, like I said, the military industrial complex, along with the oil companies, they will regularly work to, cause these sudden like jumps and spikes, right? What's great about it is that volatility goes away really quickly, but sometimes it'll happen and then, oh yeah, something got blew up at some oil field somewhere, and then it shoots up $6-7. Right? You need to be in a position that's going to protect for that. So although I might have to put up a little bit more capital to be protected up at 77, I'm still going to be out there just because I don't want to get blown out, because you just never know what's going to happen. But no, I mean, in a regular market, we will never see 77, anytime soon. If you remember, I mean, this was what, July of 2018, right? Different, very, very different market. Very, very different market. All right. But, we did have OPEC come out and say they want to lower productivity, right? So that's the reason for what we're seeing right now in crude. In fact, XLE and many other oil plays were up for this month. All right. If we look at XLE and the energy, yeah, we got to some highs. I mean, we've kind of given a lot back, but if you look at XLE and what they tried to do this month, all right, where is that month of October? There it goes. Here's the beginning of October. It tried to run. All right, now it's giving those gains back, but it tried to do something. All right. But crude is another one. You can sell gold right now, right? We've got people doing spreads on gold. Gold is another one where you're going to be able to. I wouldn't try to kind of buy anything where it's like, oh yeah, it's going to be like 130 calls or anything like that. In fact, we buy the futures option version, which is the gold futures, right? Because again, they offer leverage, and again, unless you're a millionaire, if you've got your direction right, why not be able to get 10 for 1? Well, on gold, you're probably going to get 6 for 1, 7 for 1 leverage. And sell some 1540s or 1560s in gold, right? So you can sell calls out here going a month out, 2 months out, and take that income month after month after month, because again, we understand that with the market going higher, we know that means gold prices are going to go lower. All right. Not always, right? That's not always the thing. But again, when we, not always, right? Even here's 2017, right? Incredible market year, but we didn't see a huge drop in gold. All right. So it's not always not a huge play. But what we do know, we shouldn't see a huge spike in gold. All right. Being with what we got going on right now. So right now it's a great time to do non-directional trades in gold. All right. Said lower dollar, higher gold, right? Unfortunately, right now the dollar is going higher, so we're going to see lower gold. Right? If you pull up DXY, the dollar is actually kind of rising a bit. One commodity that is, I'm surprised, collapsing a little bit more aggressively than I would think was silver. Silver had a really ugly week a couple weeks ago. And silver just, hasn't been very good play recently at all. But it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So being behind gold now, barely holding on to $17 silver, and 16 is in sight. 16 is in sight. So we'll see how that plays out. But again, these are commodities that you can trade if you're just not getting the equity side right. And there are a lot of guys who just, for whatever reason, they just can't figure it out. And then I put them on to something like crude. You put them on to something like gold. And next thing you know, it's like, wow, you just, I get it now. Because maybe they can't really understand the other, the trade and all that stuff, but they understand, okay, what's going on in Saudi Arabia. They understand what OPEC is, how OPEC affects the market, how U.S. side of the trade works, and they just figure it out. All right. Martin is God. Let's short Dish Network, satellites, or fossils. No, I wouldn't change your mind. What's the ticker for Dish? I wouldn't change but I mean, I heard that about cable too. I heard that about cable and Charter. Charter is a monster, man. I mean, look at Charter stock, man. CHRT. right? CHTR. Look at the Charter's been a monster, and cable. Everybody says cable's dead. So, but again, I don't know what the ticker is for Dish. It said Charter has internet. Yeah, but they're not making money on their internet like they make on their cable packages. You're right though. Charter does have internet. But they it's all about getting the internet and the cable. Is Dish? Oh, it literally is Dish hilarious. Yeah, I don't doubt you. I'd have to look at the earnings to see. Obviously, because you want to see a loss in subscriber base, right? So you want to see, a loss in subscriber base. You want to see losses in earnings per share, right? You want to see a loss in revenue. So if all of that's adding up, and we've got multiple quarters of that, then of course it makes a perfect sense, all right? Because with a lot of these, you can't just, sometimes it's, not just price action, because it's common sense, right? For example, what we saw in Beyond Meat, price action wasn't meeting what we saw on paper, and then eventually price action came to that number. Grubhub was one of them. All right, Grubhub was another one. Shopify was another one, where the numbers, weren't matching up. Now, of course, I don't know what's going on. It's got to bounce back, but Shopify has actually been a huge amount, but it's still losing money. Oh, I believe it. I don't doubt you, Martin. I don't doubt you at all. I don't doubt you at all, man. But again, it's now we got that sideways move. So it's what's going on here? Why are we seeing lower or higher lows in RSI, as if somebody's, we got buyers, coming in here? Do they feel like the PE is attractive here? 13 times earnings, which is, pretty cheap for Dish. All right, so there's some other things going on here. Or it could just be taking a break, right? We might just have sellers out momentarily. But yeah, Disney said Disney's large. Yeah, they're still doing their streaming. In fact, the streaming thing is out. The streaming thing is already out. Disney's been a monster. They're going to make a ton of money on their new movie, Frozen 2. They're going to make a ton of money off that. They've got Black Panther 2. They've got a whole bunch of other things coming out, man. They're going to make a shitload of money. Disney is a slamming buy, and they're going to do really well. Disney's going to be a very good company for a very long time, all right? The problem is that they do have to work on. I'm starting to hear some complaints in terms of product, of amount. They it's not enough. It's not enough stuff on the platform right now. So hopefully that means there are going to be some more things that are going to eventually be released. But I have been hearing that some people are saying it's not enough to watch on Disney Plus. But they said they've hit 20 million already. So this is a crazy thing. It's going to be big for them. Is my strategy? No, Black Box still works. Everything with Black Box still works. The problem is that the problem with Black Box, the process still works. It's just that the volatility is too low. It's not enough we're not getting enough moves. When you're trading an algo-based trading strategy, you need movement. You need stocks that are going up, stocks that are going down, that are liquid. When everybody's going in one way, particularly the most liquid stocks, there's no you're not getting the intraday action that you need to make a product like Black Box really pay for itself. I mean, you're still going to be able to see where, trades are being made in terms of the SPY and looking at the heat map and finding out where the strikes are that everybody are moving to, right? Finding those incredible buys. Like, why is somebody buying 10,000 calls of AMD? You know what I mean? You're still going to be able to always do that, right? Find the dark pool trades, all that. You're going to be able to find all that. But for the intraday setups that make the platform what it is, you need volatility. You need volatility. And right now, it's not there. It's just not there. So you're not getting, you're not getting those 500% movers. You're not getting the 300% movers because everything is just like this. Now, in a couple of days when we get a pullback, hell yeah. I mean, Black Box is going to be on fire, right? Because you're going to be able to see, God damn, where's my watch at? You're going to be able to see everybody running for that SPY, 311 put, or, you're going to be able to see all that. But until then, you're just going to have to ride the waves. And that's why a lot of people now, they've moved into small caps and stuff like that, because that's a whole nother thing, right? It's incredibly good to find small cap runners. That is another way that you can make money on that. But I mean, I know most of you guys don't trade like that, but small cap runners is another way to make money with the platform. Yeah, interactive brokers and Tasty. I fell in love with Tasty Trade when I was creating the course because of how, graphically it's beautiful, man. You really just kind of set it and forget it. Instant button setups of sometimes of certain positions and stuff like that. So, but interactive brokers and Tasty Trade. But Tasty Trade is good, but I love my debit card. Sometimes to get access to my money, with the debit card or interactive brokers, sometimes, you got to spend a check and then come back the next day and get it right back from the market. You know what I mean? So having that access to the market really is useful with that debit card. I don't like TradeNet. I don't like any broker that's outside of the United States. All right, I don't like any broker that's outside of the United States. And then I'm hearing something about CFDs, and I'm not a big fan of the contract for difference. I want to be buying the real thing. When I say I'm buying, this E-mini option or this ETF, I want to be buying that. I don't want to be buying a derivative of that. Yeah. I mean, look what happened to people who insure trader. Is Sure Trader shut down now? Are they still? Because I think they were going to shut down. Are they still going? That's why I hate that guy Warrior Trading so much. That clown put so many people on to Sure Trader, and now Sure Trader is either gone or going away. You know what I mean? So that's the thing when you're working with these foreign brokerages, they're giving you all this leverage, telling you they can do this, do that. But now when it's time to get your money out, they start fronting and saying, oh, we need this proof or that proof. I gave you the money without proof, but now when it's time to give me back my money, you're asking me to submit this and that. Now I can't fuck with you, man. I can't fuck with you. Said Warrior Trading is a massive clown. He is a clown. I don't like I said, I don't think these people that sell these courses that are charging people thousands of dollars. My thing is, if you making money, you don't have to charge that much. I get it. I want to make more money on my knowledge, but I only charge $100 for a reason. One, because I know the people who are going to give me the opportunity to be heard the most. They aren't people that have $2,000 to get into a position. I mean, to get into the markets or to learn about the markets. But at the same time, if I was getting it like that, I wouldn't have to charge that kind of money. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have to charge that. I wouldn't have to. You wouldn't have to charge it. I think he's a millionaire probably through selling courses and stuff. I don't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. He's I don't know where he got the money or what, but he's put up a lot of money on YouTube advertising, and I had to put on the damn ad blocker because I got tired of him and Jason Bond. I got tired of those clowns, man. God damn, every damn ad. I've got 3 trading strategies to show you to make money. I'm like, God damn. Oh my God, I got tired of those clowns, dude. Bull something. And then you got another one who I always side eye. He's got an ad where he's got like a Confederate T-shirt and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, I see you. I see you. You know, yeah. But I mean, look, the internet's all about make your money, and if you're dumb enough to fall for these guys, and a lot of guys fall for them, but they eventually learn. I mean, once they buy the course and they do it, and they're like, oh fuck, I'm not really fucking learning anything, or this shit is really, I could have got this at a library. Then so that's why they've got to market so much because their turnover is ridiculous. Their turnover is ridiculous. Who has the Confederate shirt? The guy who was on who's with Jason Bond, his partner, that other guy. It's Jason Bond is that other dude. Mr. So called won, he's won awards for trading options and stuff. I forgot his name. I don't know his name because he's not as popular as Jason. But he's another guy who runs no, not Kyle Dennis. Kyle Dennis is the biotech dude. But he's been putting up some huge losses. Yes, Bishop. Yeah, Bishop. That's him. Bishop has got an ad on YouTube where he's wearing a Confederate shirt. It's big as fuck too, and it's all on his chest. And I got trading. I have been a huge winner in option strategies to make money. Blah blah blah. I was like, okay. And nothing is intentional. Nothing is unintentional in marketing. Everything is completely intentional. Say he thinks he's Tim Sykes, man. Shout out to Tim Sykes, man. His strategies do work. Tim, the whole like shorting thing that does work, but man, just having to find borrows and all that shit, it gets exhausting after a while. What's going on, Adam? Yes, indeed. Shout out to Mexico. Shout out to Mexico. What I think about Boyce Watkins, he's just teaching a cookie cutter version of trading the stock market. Buy the index, buy SPY, and again for now that works, but it's going to be a time it's not going to work. And he's not teaching people about moving averages. He's not teaching people, people like that who teach that cookie cutter version of trading. They get people blown out when things turn around because they don't even know what to do. They just wake up in the morning and the market goes down and they think tomorrow's going to get better, and it gets down, and then moving averages get broken, but they don't know nothing about moving averages, so they just watch the shit, So Boyce Watkins, though, as a person, pretty good, but eventually he's going to pay the price for just muling people in to the market as he does. Again, he's got a bad habit of doing that. He gets a lot of people up into the top, like he did the Bitcoin. He was Bitcoin. I think he started at like 14,000. he just started going all in on Bitcoin. It was like 14. It was like four. It had to be around there, like 12 to 14,000. I remember it. And then after it all fell apart, he just pretended like it didn't happen. And now he's doing it again with stocks. We're getting everybody here at the top, and it's going to change, in our lifetime. Like we got to stop acting like we're not in the 8th inning, where we're probably in the bottom of the 7th. We're probably in the bottom of the 7th right now. If Trump doesn't get reelected, it's the 9th inning. You know what I'm saying? If Bernie wins, it's the 9th. It's, game over if Bernie wins. If Bernie wins, it's a wrap. They're going to try to kill him first, but if they don't succeed at that, it's a wrap. It said Boyce is about building wealth. Absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to Boyce. But I don't like his market strategy, though. But I love his business general. Hey, build a business, become independent, financially independent, blah, blah, blah. The Chinese trader Stephen Ducks. Stephen Ducks, he's another one, though I don't believe he is who he says he is. Because it just doesn't make sense to me, making $70,000 in a day, and then he's having a sale on his courses. Like, that's something's not right there. And again, I don't want to sound like a hater, because I'm really not. I really could care less about any of these people, but just something. He was fucking with Tim Sykes, and then something happened when supposedly they fell out, and he decided to go out on his own, and I don't know what it is where Tim like introduces people and then he ends up falling out with them all the time. I don't know what that's about. Because it was that Wolf guy, I remember Roland Wolf, and then he went away, and then there was some skinny, bony guy who talked like a woman, and then he went away. The guy who got $21,000 from his parents. And I didn't mean to hurt his feelings, because he went away after I called him the F word. I wasn't really trying to, and I was really homophobic at the time. I'm not, now I'm becoming better at that. I'm becoming better at that. I've learned to accept that some people do like to jam it up a guy's butt, but it is what it is, man. Tim tries to call everybody students. Yeah, he does call everybody students. Said Bloomberg taking it if Trump can't play the Trump card. Hilarious. Man, Bloomberg ain't going to win shit. He just wasting his money. He knows he can't win. He's just wasting his money. And he don't care that he's wasting his money. House of Cards, you saying we are going to see the biggest wealth transfer ever? It will happen. Yeah, absolutely. It'll be a huge wealth transfer. I just hope that the dollar doesn't lose value because of it as well either. You know what I mean? Because, you got to understand, wealthy people, they'll sabotage the whole fucking system so motherfuckers can't come up. You know what I mean? It will be an incredible wealth transfer system. But is the money somebody who makes calling that top, right? If somebody gets that top, I'm talking like, what's his name? The guy who, like, how to make $2 million from the stock market or something like that. He ended up killing himself. He called he was an incredible call, right? Incredible call. Made a shitload of money. And somebody's going to make this, somebody's going to, catch it as well too. I just hope the dollar is going to be worth something. Nicholas Darvis. Thank you, Adam. Nicholas Darvis. Yeah, incredible story. I've read that maybe 3 times. I think there's an audio version of it too. How does the wealth transfer? Well, if you've got put options, you got put options on something like the SPY. You wake up one day and the game is up, right? Credit is frozen up. You got some put options, a large position. You wake up, the Dow's down, 9%. Right? That can happen. I mean, that can happen. Rare, right? But it can happen, and you're going to be a huge winner. All right, you're going to be a huge winner. All right. You're somebody who's got a gold position. When something like that happens, you're going to be a huge winner. You own physical gold, you're going to be a huge winner. Literally that transfer, literally in thin air, where something you had that wasn't as valuable all of a sudden has a lot of value. Right? Because of the change of something that's happened in the economy, or credit's frozen up, whatever that is. Say you put my life savings with me. We'll see, man. We're watching the markets. I mean, I'm back on now. We're watching it. That's why, again, you keep an eye on that 10-month moving average, man. Keep an eye on that 10-month moving average. That's where it's going to get you. That's what got me in grub, man. It's going to look like, when it falls, it's going to look like this. Just like I pulled up that grub, it's going to look just like that. That's how it's going to look like. Capitulation. It's going to look just like that. And the people at the top, they can't just switch over and become sellers. I mean, they can't just switch over and start buying puts, because again, the overwhelming majority of them are long, right? Whether you are a private investor, or you're, someone with a 401k, you can't even shorten a 401k. They don't even give you decent options in a 401k, right? But to be a part of the bubble economy. So you're just, you got, 100 million people who are just fucked going long month in and month out. Every paycheck, they're getting money. It's putting it in the market. It's blowing this bubble bigger and bigger and bigger. So when it pops, they're fucked. They're just going straight down. Do I ever short sell a pump and dump? Hell yeah! I built a whole website on that, and it ended up getting hacked. It was called Advanced Equity Research. It's still up, but that what I have now is a shadow of what it used to be. I used to write articles on other guys' pump and dumps, and I would short the stock. Right, I would short the stock, write an article on it, post it, and then run Facebook ads on my pump and dump article, on the article. So I would write, a story exposing it as a pump and dump, showing the balance sheet, how they don't make any money. And then I would take a position like 5,000 or 5,500, somewhere around it. It's typically about $5,000. And then I'd pay like $500 worth of ads on Facebook for like the month, and I just hold it. Oh yeah, that's still a great strategy. It's just there's no liquidity right now. I mean, these pumps aren't working, but it's a great strategy though. But these pumps aren't getting off the ground like they used to. He said, Martin, this guy, why aren't we getting richer? Why are you getting rich? I'm getting rich. I'm getting rich over here. I don't know about you, man. But I started this show. I started this channel. I was living in a studio apartment. Man, $450 a month was my rent, all utilities included. My sink wasn't a real sink. The sink was actually one of those sinks that actually drains water in from a washer and dryer. I don't know how to explain that to you, but it was just one of those big, deep, it wasn't a real sink. So this channel, Learning the Markets, has been an incredible wealth building vehicle for me, because I'm actually applying what I'm learning. You know what I'm saying? It's you can't just look at the chart and be like, no, you got to be actually like, I'm putting money at risk here. And of course I'm doing other things. I'm helping other people grow. I also do little events. People out here in the local area do little events. I go out and do that. But this is a wealth vehicle. People are hungry to learn this shit, man. You can make money doing that, or actually making money in the market. Play it, bro. They're giving you the money. They're giving you the money. So when people tell me, how come we're not getting rich? Are you playing the trades? Because when I look at the SPY, when I pull up SPY over the last, how can you not be making money off this thing, man? How can you tell me you're not making no money? You know what I'm saying? Now it's one thing if you're day trading. That's a tough game, man. I'm not gonna lie. I did it for a little while, won some money, lost a lot of money, and right now the volatility isn't there to really be doing that. They're giving you the free money. They're giving you the free money. Sam M1, shout out to M1 Gunner. He say, you remember those videos? I was living in the ghetto, man. I used to make videos where I had to look around my back. I had to check my back all the time. Because in Detroit, guys would just run up on you and rob you. I had to get up out of there. Because eventually I started getting known. I went on one of the local TV stations. A lady had gotten scammed buying some penny stock. All right. And somebody heard from somebody else about some guy who talks about penny stocks. So I went on the station and they literally, we had like a 30-minute conversation. They used like fucking 20 seconds. But they put my name and, next thing you know, I had people in my complex knocking on my door asking me, oh, you make a lot of money in penny stocks? I'm like, fuck. I was a target, man. I had to get up out of there. I had to get the fuck up out of there, man. I knew I was going to get robbed because I started hearing things. I heard you got a bunch of money. Oh, I didn't have shit. I didn't have shit like that. I had a couple thousand. I had just started doing the promotions, right? I just started, because remember, I started out with Tim Sykes believing, oh, yeah, Tim is going to show me the way. And then I went over to the dark side. I was like, man, I spent 6 months trying to get $2,000 just to be able to get the margin to short. And then now I got the margin and I'm struggling because I really can't pay for the trades I want to do. Right? So he's always shitting on promoters and how promoters are greedy and they're making all this money. I'm like, man, fuck you, nigga. I'm going to be a promoter. I know I can get up on this camera and start, woo and shit like that. I'm going to be a promoter. So got a mailing list up. I found a cat out of Chicago. Not going to mention his name, but Jewish dude. He's like, man, I saw your video. I like what you're doing, man, and I got a proposition for you. I'm like, what's that? I was like, hey, I got this ticker. You make a video about it, get your people excited, wet their whistle a little bit, and just get them to buy it, and I'm gonna send you some money, okay? And every time I send you a ticker, you're gonna make a video about it, and I want to send you some money. I'm like, oh, okay, I could do that shit. And it was like, man, the money was just, I couldn't believe it, man. I just, of course, when you coming out of school, no real money, and somebody's just, and he was sending the money through PayPal, just bow. But looking back, I was getting ripped off, though. Looking back, I was getting ripped off. Now, looking back on it, because even for some of the promotions, even though I was getting paid $10 or $15 or $5 or $2,500, it was $2,500 to send out an email. sometimes 10 to 15,000 to do a YouTube video. I was still getting ripped off because I was generating about $250,000 in buying power. So although I was getting a little bit, I was only getting change compared to what I was generating in terms of volume for the ticker. So he was able to clear out M's. I was getting peanuts. You know. And then, of course, I got nigga with the money. I went and got a Mustang. Also, I think that video's still up. I went and got a Mustang. A drop-top Mustang in the middle of the fucking winter, bro. I mean, you can go see the video. It's snowing outside, and I'm buying a drop-top Mustang. What are you doing? What are you doing? Dumbass nigga. You know, but that's just, when you don't know what you're doing, man, and somebody's just dropping paper in your hand and you don't really know what you're doing, that's just what happens. Yeah, drop top GT. But then it was good for a while, and then a movie came out called Wolf of Wall Street, and it was over. It was over. Wolf of Wall Street came out, and you still got your degenerates. I could put out a ticker today. You're still going to get people to buy because you just have that group of people who are just penny stocks is their thing, and they're going to buy. If you can generate volume, they're going to buy your tickers. But the illusion, the mysteriousness of them was gone. You know what I mean? That illusion, that mysteriousness of the ticker, that whole you can triple the possible return of your $500. You can make 2,000% back on your money. It's been done. Right? That was gone. And the guy even tried to, he's tried to hit me back up. I was just like, nah, man, it's not there. It's not there. I wouldn't even try to embarrass myself like that. Now I wouldn't even dare to do it because it's really no reason to. But I appreciate those days because that's where I got my stack from. That's where that's where my stack is that enabled me to finally get the ball rolling because, I was only making, $11 an hour. It's hard to fucking save money to trade when you can't make any money, man. It's hard. It is hard when you cannot save money. All right, and becoming a trader, becoming an investor, you first have to be a saver. But to be a saver, you actually have to make money. And when you can't make money, man, in this economy where they're not even trying to pay young people nothing, you can have a degree, certifications. I mean, I got my man out here. The brother's got a CCNA, can't get a job. It's crazy, man. They told this man, hey, if you buy this CCNA course, my man spent like 16 weeks or something like that, went out to that school, came back, no job. Crazy, bro. So it's tough to get out to get ahead out here. Yeah, it's tough to get ahead out here. He said, send you the link where I got the chain, get the rose gold one. It's hilarious. Yeah, this ain't no, oh man, that brought back some memories when you just said that. Does anybody remember, this is going back to high school days now. There was a website called Iced Out Gear. I don't know if I don't think it's still up. But it was called Iced Out Gear. And Iced Out Gear had all the blingy ass chains for like $10, $20. And I was working at this fake ass Taco Bell, but it was called Taco Boy. This guy, it was so funny. It's a Mexican dude. He literally talked he literally told me he was watching Coming to America. And you know how they have McDowell's. All right, and they copied McDonald's. He instead of Taco Bell, he did Taco Boy, and he literally came up with it from that. So I was working at Taco Boy, and I would save my checks, and then I would go buy chains from IcedOutGear.com. And they were all fake as hell, making my neck all yellow and shit. But, bruh, for the first 2 weeks when they were just shiny, whoo! Couldn't nobody tell me nothing, man. Couldn't nobody tell me nothing. So many people see CLVS. Yeah, man. People out here Cisco certified and not getting jobs, man. You'd be surprised how many, because they tell you to just go get these certifications and you'll just go out and get this money, and it doesn't work that way, man. This guy's still unemployed, Now, one thing about me is, though, I went and got an MTA, and I forgot what the entry level is for the Microsoft certification to learn SQL. I had learned MySQL, and I was getting up there with PHP and stuff like that. But anyway, I thought that I'd get to really master SQL because it was the only language that wasn't like changing crazy. SQL just seems like it's there and it's not, it doesn't change like that. So, but by the time I started getting callbacks on my resume, the money was flowing, and I was like, man, fuck a job, man. Fuck a job. Yeah. But I would still, if somebody was going into tech, if you wanted to go into tech right now, SQL is always in demand, man. Everybody needs somebody who's good at databases, and it's not the most difficult language in the world. You can learn it and get pretty good at it if you're dedicated. Yeah, it was the rescue that a lot of MJ stocks needed a couple days ago when some committee in the House approved some resolution about MJ coming off the Schedule 2 list or something like that. But man, we need a federal law. This just needs a law at this point. It just needs a law. You need to see the law happen. You need to start seeing. Then once the law gets passed, the money is finally going to be able to get into the financial institutions. You're going to see major consolidation within the industry, because right now it's too easy to get in. It's the money's all you can't get the money you need at the right pricing. It's a lot going on. I talked about it my last show. It's just a lot going on there. It's a Taco Boy location. They're in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. I was in Mount Pleasant, Michigan at the time. Yeah, Taco Boy. I think there's one in Saginaw, Michigan now as well. Yeah, but it's just a fake ass Taco Bell. That's all it is. It's a fake ass Taco Bell. It's hilarious. Been open now almost 20 years. So funny we talking about MJ because the owner's son was a big old weed head himself. He was a big old weed head. I remember that. He wasn't that much older than me. I think I was like 16. He had to be maybe 22 at the time. But he was always just looking fucked up in the eyes and smelling like weed. But when you're young at the time and you're just like, say no to drugs, you think everybody who smoked weed is a bum. You know what I mean? Because when I was playing football at the time, I was, I'm all about trying to be the next, Terrell Owens. So I'm not trying to fuck with nobody who's smoking no weed or anything like that. I was trying to be the next T.O. So I'm like, man, look at this weed head. Dope head looking motherfucker. that's how you feel when you're an athlete. Anybody who's is doing anything that could slow your body down, you just look at them like a bum. Yeah, CJC is the Bitcoin of marijuana. Man, I knew I should have bought me some malt liquor tonight, man. I feel like drinking now. I should have bought me a flavored malt liquor. And I always get those cravings late, just when the damn store's about to close. I always do that shit. Store's about to close, and I'm like, oh man, I need to go get me something. And I hate being that, because I used to work retail. I hate being that motherfucker that comes in when it's about to close. Because I know how it feels to be on the other side. Like, nigga, you just had to come up in here. But I just get those cravings late, man. Yeah. Yeah, I just get those. Yeah, that brown bag, man. Some malt liquor. Oh, I don't know about no Old English. Oh shit, that's Old English that's some real ghetto shit. Old English? God damn, that's some real ghetto shit. Yeah, I've been mixing it up now with the flavors and all that type of stuff, man. I'm in a whole bunch of new shit now, but that Old English that reminds me of the hood. Yeah, that brown bag Colt 40, yep. I still like Colt 40 though. I do like a Colt 40 though. I ain't gonna lie, that puts a smile on my face. Black Box Stocks is an algo based trading platform. It just gives you alerts. Is it PNLR? Is this stock we should be? This is the stock we need to be shorting. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. Don't know anything about it. Don't know anything about it. Canopy Growth. They appointed someone from Gamma. Yeah, well, I mean, they're the biggest. They're the big dog. Yeah. Somebody said they were the Bitcoin. You're right. They're the big dog. You're saying how much for the program? I think Black Box Stocks now is like 145. I mean, if you know what you're doing, it pays for itself. If you know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, it pays for itself. Particularly if you're into small caps or if you're into options. Either one of those two, you're gonna know what you're gonna make a ton of money. Oh, that's the one he made. He said he made 3K on. PNRL. Let me look at that real quick. Oh shit, okay, yeah, I see it. Let's look at the 10-minute. Oh, okay. Yeah, look at that. Nice move. I see the open. All right. So you had about a good 50 minutes. Oh man, of course in this, you just got to feel sorry for the buyers at 9. I mean, because there's a bag holder in there somewhere. Nice move though on that pop. Again, this is a typical setup that I used to call Elma Suds. And Alma Suds, I imagine, was an old woman. And Alma earnings. Gosh, I can't remember what it even stood for. Earnings, lawsuits, mergers, acquisitions. And then Suds was splits, upgrades, downgrades, and I forgot what the other S stands for. But anyway, anything having to do with a news spike, typically in the Elma Suds thing, if it had to do with that, those were great shorting opportunities, intraday shorting opportunities. News or anything like that, those are incredibly great shorting opportunities. Yeah, Elma, ELMA, Elma Suds. I think I got a video on Elma Suds too. I got a video on that. Appreciate you, Corey Lewis. Yes, indeed, man. People sleeping on my 1025, man. Shout out to you, bro. People sleeping on my 1025, man. A lot of people will get you in at 50, 100 and all that. No, man, you got to get just close enough to where you get the turn. That's what you want to. That's where the money is at. It's at that turn or it's at that breakout. And 10 and 25 puts it right there. I appreciate you, Corey Lewis. Yeah, 1025 works in every trading method. I mean, every time frame. You know, the longer, the better, though, of course, obviously, because it's more data, but it works in every time frame. Millionaire Trading Academy is my course where I teach the simple trading method, where we use very low risk, non-directional trading strategies to generate a monthly income that we then reinvest month after month in order for us to eventually become millionaires over a 20 to 25 to 30 year or less time frame. All right. So for somebody who's got $2,500, again, if you look at 4% per month, which is what we try to aim for, over the course of 30 years, you will be a millionaire many times over. Now, at 4% per month, we've got to be honest that once you reach, once you get to, 150, 200,000, you're going to be, it's going to take a lot less risks. For some people, that's 50,000. You're going to start getting a little scared. But we just aim for 4% a month because we're on a journey, right? This is a journey that we're taking, and people who are willing to risk $100 today, you get lifetime access to my course. I'm always updating, and then we build that journey. Again, 4% every month. We're just 4%, 4%, 4%, 4%, 4%. Of course, you can, reinvest more money on the side if you want, but it's your own personal journey. I'm just asking you to take it with me. I said a guy named Sasha Envikov. Is that what you're doing? The guy who's basically got a whole YouTube full of like teaching people how to do shit? Steven Ducks. Yeah, shorting those crappy stocks. Yeah. But I mean, Guru Leaks kind of exposed them though. Guru Leaks is on his neck though, man. Shout out to Guru Leaks. Guru Leaks is a former promoter too. I got some history on Guru Leaks, but we're not going to talk about that. But Guru Leaks is a former promoter who went straight. If you follow Guru Leaks on Twitter, he exposes guys like Tim Sykes. He was the one that found out that Tim Sykes' that mansion in Florida was rented, and he's exposed quite a few people because he knows he knows a lot of things that's going on out there right now. But he's been on Steven Ducks' neck. And Steven Ducks tried to put out this thing where he's like, yeah, I'm releasing my my brokerage statements, and Steven Ducks, and Guru Leaks found a whole bunch of problems with the statements. He was like, well, why doesn't it show this and this and this? And them things came down real fast. So I don't know what to believe about Steven Ducks anymore. Yeah. And my thing is like, it's not even the amounts he's putting up. It's like, where are you getting the borrows from? Because even on, the number one platform, in my opinion, Interactive Brokers, right? I mean, this is Interactive Brokers, that's managed money. They use that platform. They don't have the borrows. How are you getting the borrows on those trades? So I'm thinking this could be a demo. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to say, because, yeah, but a shitty broker like Trade Zero, how does Trade Zero get get those borrows? So I don't know. And I'm not really big on counting other dudes' money or pockets like that. You got to do what you got to do, because that's the thing about this game. It's so funny because a guy will post, He made 75,000 today, man, 125,000 a day, but he won't give you $1. He won't give you $1. Recognize that shit. He won't give you $1, but he'll turn around and ask you to buy his course. He'll turn around and ask you to buy his DVD. I mean, these people are just, I don't know. I just, for me, it's like, it's a point where it's just like, it's fuck all those dudes, really. Fuck all those dudes, because I've always said, if I got it like that, I'm sharing the information. If I got it like that, the fuck I gotta buy the DVD? Why I gotta sell a DVD for? If I got it like that, why I gotta sell a DVD? That don't even make no sense. That's like the head of Amazon, right? The CEO of Amazon selling a book on how to get rich. That don't even make no fucking sense. That don't make no fucking sense. So that tells me you either lying, right? You either lying or you're insanely greedy. But I have a feeling you're more lying than that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Yeah, that's like Jeff Bezos selling a book on how to get rich. You would never do it because you don't need the $19.99 or whatever the fuck is going to charge for the fucking book. It's stupid. You know what I mean? So if you make $70,000, $100,000 a month, what is a $1,000 DVD to you? That don't make no sense. That don't even make no sense. So it doesn't add up for me. It doesn't add up for me. And people who are incredibly wealthy on YouTube, they're putting out content for free. If you really they're putting out the shit for free. They're talking about business. They're talking about just general things. You know what I'm saying? The Peter Schiffs of the world, the Gary Vaynerchuk's, this guy from Valuetainment. People who are really wealthy, they just put out info. They just put out info, man. Grant Cardone, yeah, they just put out information. And the thing I got mad respect for Grant Cardone because at least when he's selling something, it's the real fucking deal. It's like, no, this is like a $25,000 thing, and it's only for people who are looking to, you know what I'm saying? It's not he's not selling to to the everyday American. You know what I mean? He's selling to business owners. And his products are premium priced. Kind of like Dan Lok. I like Dan Lok a lot. I fucks with Dan Lok. I really like watching Dan Lok videos because he looks different. You know what I mean? It's a different kind of dude, and big Asian dude. So it's just something new to look at. Mir Barak made 75%, but was down 40K at one point. He was early to get those shares and ate a temporary loss. Oh, okay. Yeah, but Mir Barak, he's another millionaire, right? He owns TradeNet and all that. Yeah, I've talked about Mir Barak, man. He's another one that supposedly his brokerage was having some issues. They figured it out all of a sudden. Adam Koo is the man, bro. Adam Koo is the man. Them Asian, Adam Koo I think he's a Korean guy. He's certified. I mean, the guy is he was a genius, borderline genius coming out of school. I mean, he's certified. And he's not just like a trader. He's more or less like, he teaches math courses. He teaches how to get into high price, how to get into Ivy League schools. He's got this thing in Korea where he gets people set for their test, which is one of the hardest college tests out there. So Adam Koo is the real deal. his trading videos are like a tenth of what his real business is. He's more or less, about like how to get your kid into a very good school. Small guys can get shares, but they can't afford to eat the loss until trade goes right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that's why I'm showing a lot of guys to do non-directional trades now. Because enjoy this low volatility until you can't enjoy it anymore. One day you're not going to be able to enjoy it anymore. But while it is incredibly low, instead of having your money sit somewhere, now you can get some income with using leverage that the futures market offers you. Same products, right? Russell 2000, S&P 500. We know what direction they're going into. Now, with the power of futures, where it's a 10 for 1, now we're getting, that 10 for 1 leverage. And now we've got more capital to work with, and we're getting bigger returns back as we know that the market's going higher. And when it falls apart, it falls apart. But until then, we're going to make as much money as we can, and we'll get to that bridge. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I appreciate that, Marketing guy. You said you have 10,000. Get it to work, man. Get it to work. This, in America, savings doesn't make sense. That's why we don't pay any money on savings accounts here. If you go to, places like the Dominican Republic, you can get 10%, 12, 15. I mean, you go to some of these countries in South America or you get a lot of money on savings account. But in America, we're a credit-based society. We need money moving. So we're not paying you any money on savings accounts, right? So you need to go buy some treasury bonds. You need to go buy some positions in some REITs. So you need to go put it in a money market. You need to do something with it but the idea of just sitting there, we don't do that in America. There's no such thing as savings here. If you're in a savings account, you're losing money. All right, you're losing money. Every dollar has to be working. Some people, older people, they go buy an annuity. You can go buy yourself an annuity. Go do something with the money. Because the worst thing you can do in America is to sit in cash. Because your $10,000 loses. I'm not saying you're doing. I'm just giving you as an example. Your $10,000 loses money every year. I'm just thinking in my head some of the stuff that I used to be able to do with $500 in 2015, 2014. I can't do now. I paid my rent with that. I used to be able to pay rent with $500. I used to be able to pay my car, I used to be able to do a lot more with $500 5 years ago, 10 years ago than I'm doing now. A whole lot more. Absolutely. I remember, some of you guys can remember when soda was 25 cents. I remember a few times. You remember going to Walmart and like in the front there'd be like the soda machines that were 25 cents. I remember those. It was a lot. There's a lot of things in grocery stores now is a little more expensive. So the dollar loses value over time. Dollar just continues to lose value over time. And so there's no point in saving money. You've got to continue to make. And that's exactly why we've got a government that's, again, propping up asset values, because they understand that if they let it go, it crashes, and then you have what's called deflation. Right? You have deflation, which is the what's the word for it? Basically, it's the collapsing of asset prices and valuation. And that only hurts the people who are immensely wealthy. They lose the most. Right? Deflation is what they work hard to stop. They work hard to stop that. when people like me and you would win in a deflation based, if we were suffering from deflation right now, right? Our money be worth a lot more. Then that's a scenario where you can possibly get savings going again, right? In a society that's going through deflation. All right, that's where money isn't really going around. All right? And our economy will suffer through that eventually. I could see, 2030s, something like that, maybe 2020s. Not 2020s, late 2020s into 2030. Because with these baby boomers, when they're getting old, these baby boomers are going to live very long time. So whatever resources they have, they better hope it can extend into their 80s, 90s. Many of these baby boomers are in their early 60s. So they're going to have 20 years. And what we know about old people is that they don't spend a lot of money. So if we know that the wealthiest people in America will now starting to tighten those purse streams, that's a lot of money that's not flowing in the economy that could cause deflation in the market. All right. What's going on, Bo White? 2008 was 2008 was another one. If you were someone who had great credit and you kind of missed out on the NINA loans, right? No income, no asset loans, and you went to go buy a house, you got a great deal at the bottom of 2008 on a home. You got a great deal. And now you could be refinancing for an even lower rate. Yeah. 2008, we had a really unique opportunity to rebuild our financial system for the benefit of all Americans, right? But we elected a bitch ass nigga called Barack Obama, who was financed by Citigroup. He has his whole cabinet was actually picked by Citigroup. And he was doing their bidding, man. He did their bidding for 8 years. We don't even know what happened. I don't even know what happened. Besides Obamacare, I really don't know what else, was going on. But we had a really unique opportunity. We had a really unique opportunity to rebuild America's financial system, and we fucked it up, man. Fucked it up. And what's crazy is that the guy who he ran against, from John McCain probably wouldn't have done it. John McCain probably would not have done TARP. He wouldn't have done Cash for Clunkers. He wouldn't have done all of these, games that were just really to prop up institutions that really don't benefit the American people. Yeah, John's dead now, but he would have been alive and throughout his presidency. He's dead now, but he would have been alive through his presidency. He would have did his 8 years. But he had a unique opportunity, and we just missed it, man. Really, really sad. We're gonna get another stab at it, right? Because our debt is going to push us there. But we had a great opportunity, man, and we just allowed somebody who talked really good, was clean cut, and got a lot of people who were depressed about politics to get excited about politics again by talking about hope and change and sounding like someone who came out of the prophetic fire of the Civil Rights Act. You know what I mean? Of the Civil Rights Movement. He used a lot of civil rights kind of. So that generation really felt that, because they had never seen somebody like that who really, looking back, he really just kind of went through some of the Black Panther books and stuff like that and just kind of took the swag out of it. Yeah, bamboozled is a good term. Took a lot of the swag out of the civil rights movement, and he wore that on his sleeve, and he wasn't about that life at all. He wasn't about that life at all. This is a man who you know, it just, man, it's just sad to see. And it's going to take some time for America to reprocess, because we always do that, right? We take time to reprocess people's legacies. It takes time to reprocess people's legacies. And I think when he gets his wake-up call, he might still be alive. He might still be alive when he gets that. He's not going to like it. Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. I mean, he sold us this idea that banks are too big to fail. Banks fail all the time, bro. All around the world, banks fail. All around the world, banks fail. There's no such thing as a company that's too big to fail. They fail. If you say this is the greatest country in the world, a bank fails, then other companies buy up the assets and make do with what's left over. That happens every day. It happens every day. People foreclose. Somebody else buys it and does, that happens every day. But we got sold a lie. He took it and sold it really well to us, didn't he? Our financial system as we know it will be bullshit. That's bullshit. Everybody was going to go to work the next day. Everybody's going to go to school the next day. Everybody. It's crazy. Crazy. So instead of remaking our financial system, we gave banks the greatest dip buying opportunity they've ever seen. Greatest dip buying opportunity they've ever seen. Bailed them out. Not even. I mean, bailed them out with our money. It's not even we're asking them to get paid back. To pay it back, right? The only company we did that to was GM. That was the only company that did that, where they paid us back. But the banks, the financial institutions, got bailed out. Absolutely right. And the hood has never been the same, with that money. And then, of course, with the 0% interest rates, where they had to go to get beta, they built these huge Blackstone. No, is it BlackRock or Blackstone? I think it was BlackRock. But they built these huge $100 million, $50 billion real estate funds, where they just started now going into different predominantly black neighborhoods, right? Because when African Americans came out of the South, they moved into the urban areas, many of them incredibly valuable properties. Now, weren't then, but now. So in order to get that beta from the cheap capital you've got to go to the poorest, the most rundown places. So of course you target those areas. And that's all Barack Obama's fault, man. That's all Barack Obama's fault. That's all his fault that you can't get, if you're a working class black person in the urban area. 50% of African Americans earn $15 or less per hour. You can't get a $600 a month apartment like you did for many years. For many years now, people getting gentrified out of them because of that cheap money. That cheap money. All right? And it all started with Barack Obama. All of it. Not Bush, not Daddy Bush, not Clinton. Clinton, all those. Everybody had, a lot of people had, you could stay in the house during the Bush days. I remember being in the hood in the Bush days. Not me personally being in there, but driving around there. People were living, had houses. You didn't see any type of this kind of level of homelessness that you see now. Those people who live out in California, you didn't see this level of homelessness 20 years ago, 30 years ago. The level of homelessness that we have out here in America right now. And then you had Wells Fargo coming out not too long ago and saying housing instability would be the greatest could be the greatest challenge of the next 10 to 15 years. People who don't have places to live. Maybe 5 million people who are at risk for being homeless. Imagine that. Because the rents are going higher. Employers are not increasing. Minimum wage hasn't gone anywhere, right? Minimum wage is still the minimum wage from 2009 to 2019. Same minimum wage, right? So it's a lot of shit that's going on with our country, man. And I don't like to say this, but I pray for the destruction of this country every day. You know, this is Babylon for real. I haven't even gotten religious yet for you guys, but I'm a very religious person. I have no doubt in my mind I'm living in Babylon. This is it. You know, for real. You said you can have a CCNA and live in a tent? Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. You got these people, you know, and then of course you got to go in there and you know all the kind of bullshit you deal with people on these jobs. And I mean, hey, you come in to work late 5 minutes, they act like you know, stole some money and like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh God, DeAndre, you're 5 minutes late. How come I can't tell you? I guess I might have to write you up. I mean, damn. God. I didn't hire you to do this. Come on, DeAndre. You know, they act like, you know, so, you know, the bullshit you got to deal with, the jobs, getting the, I mean, it's just, you know, and again, those are things that if we lived in a just economy, if we lived in a society that was based on, let's say, the gold standard, where we actually had money, you know, we'd be able to take risk and be able to create more real growth because there'd be people who actually have the ability to start businesses. There are a lot of people who want to start a business but can't because the way our economy is going. You know what I mean? They gotta get a job. They gotta put food on the table. They can't even take, you know, time off to be business owners. Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. You know, like I said, man, some people hate it when I talk about this, but Mr. Anderson walks in and he's 20 minutes late. Yeah, the kid was puking again. I had to take care of it. Oh, don't worry about it. You know those kids. Yeah. But let you be late. Let you be late 5 minutes. God damn it. Come on, man. I'm going to have to write you up. Well, I'm going to tell you, this is your final warning. If it happens again, unfortunately, we might have to let you go, DeAndre. Oh, well, I hate to see it happen to you. That's real shit. And you got to deal with that because you don't have a choice. You know, for a lot of people, you don't have a choice. Shout out to you, Dawson, doing your own thing. It's hard, you know. And 9 times out of 10, that'd be a dude who want to do his own thing, man. You know, he want to go out and run his own business, run his own shop. But, you know, you live in a country where, you know, you got to get a license for this and a license for that. And you got to get a bond for this and a bond for that. And you got to go, you know, register for this paperwork and come on, man. All of it is just so everybody can have their hands in your, just to stop you. It's really, that's all it is. It's just to stop you, you know, as an employee. You work for somebody else. The person that you work for doesn't pay as much taxes as you pay as the employee. Then you get paid, right, out of whatever's left over. Now it's time to pay your bills. Now you got to buy food for your family. You're paying taxes on your food, depending on what state you live in. You got to pay taxes on your food, all right? Going to the gas station, you're paying taxes at the gas station. You're paying taxes for this, taxes for that, taxes for this, taxes for that. All right? And the people who making more than you don't pay any taxes. And they've got methods that they can implement where you can't even see their money. The government can't even see where their money's at. But not you. Not you. It's real fucked up, man. It's real fucked up. But again, like I said, we're getting to a point. We're getting to day zero. It's coming, and I pray that it's our lifetime. I mean, I pray that this budget balloons to 50 trillion. I hope it gets to 50 trillion in the next 10, 20 years, because I want to see what's going to happen. And I think it's going to be incredibly beautiful when it all falls apart. There's going to be a lot of hoopla. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to try to finesse the system. That's why they're trying to keep Bitcoin under wrap. That's why they ship Bitcoin so much and cryptocurrencies, because you can't make money on it, right? It's, as a financial institution, you cannot make money on cryptocurrencies. You just can't. So that's why they shit on it a lot. But it's here to stay. But this country is crazy. Said most of us pay little tax too. Yeah, I mean, because you don't earn anything. There are some people who if you earn 15,000 a year, yeah, I mean, you don't pay much tax. But on the tax you do earn, that's a lot on what little money you earn. You know what I'm saying? It's not on us to pick on that person who's making very little money and not paying any taxes. I'm concerned about the guy who's making $300 million and not paying a dollar. I'm concerned about him, because when he doesn't pay taxes, then my kid gets an inferior education. My parks don't get clean. My roads don't get paved. You know what I mean? Because as a wealthy person, he's supposed to pay the majority of taxes. That's what's supposed to happen in a society, right? You make more, you pay more. That's how it's supposed to work. You've been skilled and blessed enough to earn more than everybody else, so you got to chip in more. It shouldn't be the opposite way. You know what I mean? He said Jimmy at IHOP scrubbing dishes gets back $3K a year. Yeah, but I mean, that's true too. But he's got to sometimes go through a lot of bullshit to get that $3K back. You know what I mean? I've been hearing some people getting a lot of bullshit to get their money back lately since Trump's been in office. They got to submit that form and this form, and something gets delayed and something gets held up. If I'm making $14K a year, I'm not even paying taxes. If I'm making $14K, I'm not even filing a refund. I wouldn't even file a refund. It's no point on that little money, unless you got like 20 kids or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why even file? I wouldn't even file a refund if I'm making that much money. But America's a hustler society, man. You got to fight. Everything is a fight. That's why a lot of immigrants are so suited to doing well here, because they come here off the boat, off the plane, ready to do battle. And they understand that this is an economy where you have to, in order to get ahead, because nothing stands still, you have to either provide a good or a service. And most immigrants come here to provide a good or a service. Unlike a lot of Americans who try to depend on a wage, which, doesn't grow with inflation, that doesn't grow with the increase in cost of living. So they find themselves getting behind. The only way to catch up is to be someone who contributes to the economy in a different kind of way, besides exchanging time for money. Because if you exchange for time for money in America, unless you have a skill that's so valued, you're just losing. It's a losing game. It's a losing game to exchange time for money if you don't have a valuable skill to offer. It's a losing game. The game is set up for you to lose if you exchange time for money. All right. And immigrants know, and I'm just taking from, experience watching, these other Africans where I grew up with, the Ethiopians, Nigerians, all these other people. They understand that you don't even have to be the best. You just being in the game will keep you going, will keep you, your shop doesn't even have to have the nicest products. Just being somewhere where you have traffic and you could be maybe the only person around who's got, it's a convenient location. Your floors don't even have to be clean. The spot, just being convenient and accessible will be able to generate the kind of revenue that you need to sustain yourself and your family. You know what I mean? You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be Walmart. You don't have to. These guys from Pakistan and all that buy these little shops in these urban areas, these Chinese food spots where you got a Chinese man in the kitchen who doesn't cook anywhere near as good as any of the black women who are standing in line to give him money. He knows he's not the best, but he just knows just being in business will keep him going. Every time I'm in the hood, I'm always seeing these big women at these Chinese spots buying food, and they cook better than that man in the kitchen. They cook better than him. But they're in line giving him money. And he would never, ever, ever, ever turn around and give them money for anything. These people don't do business with you, but they're in your neighborhood to do for you to do business with them. They understand economics. And they understand the laws of money. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was really disappointed when I was really excited about ADOS and what they were proposing, but once they started talking about, black folks are broke, black folks are broke, black folks are broke. What are you talking about, man? Everybody in the whole world know first thing you do to come to America is you come to the black neighborhood to get some money. It's a whole lot of money in the black community. The government putting money in there through the EBT. There's a whole lot of money to come down here and get. What are you talking about? Now, I get what you're saying in terms of what a debt is being owed, but don't ever say there's not no money over there. There's a lot of money. It's just not coming. It's not circulating. Say it's not circulating, but don't ever say they don't have no money. Because everybody and their mama come to the hood to get rich. But then, Tariq Nasheed came through, and that guy's a cancer. Funny dude, but he's a cancer. Funny as hell. Funny as hell. Very entertaining. Enjoy watching, but he is a cancer. He said, but that's how I take the reason you teach people about the stock market. Well, yeah, absolutely, man, because I think it's incredible wealth vehicle. Over the course of a lifetime, and I think the stock market in America wins. And even though one day it will crash, but being that we have products that give us access to emerging markets, what's going to happen is you're just going to have a stock market where the SPY is going to actually be EEM. EEM is going to be that chart that goes like that, and we may be going through something. So you're just going to have to be prepared for that time. But I think we'll always have a stock market that is an incredible wealth generating vehicle. You said they have a scarcity mindset. Okay, Rod, you said you don't do business with those people either. Yeah, I mean, I don't fuck with them. Nope, 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 nope. I cook my own. I learned how to cook my own Chinese food though, and I learned how to cook my own Chinese food, and that's after I started learning, recognizing about what what some of these people be low key doing with the money and stuff like that. Because the money they get out of the hood, they're putting into they're building their own country. They're sending it to China and all that. I'm like, I'm not trying to support that shit, man. You got Chinese people buying properties in Detroit and all that stuff. Turning your people into slaves because they're becoming landlords, and I'm not trying to support that, man. I'm good. I'm good. You know, like I said, 90% of all spending done by African Americans is done with someone outside of the group. So just a simple change, and that would yield thousands of new entrepreneurs, incredibly new, uh, thousands of new jobs. So and again, it's when I explain this to people, they say, "Well, that doesn't that sound kind of racist?" It was not racist. It's not at all. It's being American. What I mean? It's called being American. Being conscious about how you spend your money, conscious about how money flows through your community. You know what I'm saying? You say you're looking for that mega stock to drop. I'm right there with you, Michael Black. A depression would be the greatest thing. If you're not a millionaire, the greatest thing that could ever happen to you is a depression. What was great about the depression of 1929, 28 is that, coming out of that, you had many new entrepreneurs, many new businesses, a lot of new inventions, the old guard got destroyed for the most part. The old guard got destroyed. You remember before then you had the railroad titans and all that thing, but after that it was a big change in terms of what eventually would become market leadership. If you look at the Dow in 1950 and you looked at how it looked in 1920, it's not even the same companies. Many companies are gone. You had it was a much different market, a much better market. Yeah. He said depression will make me the next Warren Buffett. Race to see who controls all. Well, what's great about it is that they're not even spending the money in the right way. So that's what's good about it. The money that they are getting, again, because the money is cheap, right? The interest rate keeps going low, but they're not giving the money to you, right? It's the invested institutions that are getting the cheap money. People privileged enough to get access to it at that rate, but they're not giving it to you at that rate. But they're not spending it the way they probably should be spending it, which is buying real assets. In fact, all they're doing is just buying more stock, buying art. Don't get it wrong. You still got a lot of people out here buying up the hood, but what you're not seeing is reinvestment that we thought we were going to get once we got all the tax cuts and all that. You're not seeing any reinvestment in the people at all. You're not seeing any reinvestment in people. For example, if you go back to the 1940s, 1950s, and what you saw were a lot of companies that trained you to do your job. And they trained you to do a good job that paid really well. So now what you'll see is that if you are in a job that trains you, more than likely these days, it's a very low paying job. Right? It's a very low paying job. What we need to see is when we start seeing these tech companies actually start training people, Microsoft should be hiring people to train them how to code, how to do that. That's real growth. That's real growth. But when you're simply just hiring people from India or something like that, you're not creating real growth in the economy. You're not improving people. You're not really making any. You're not making any investments, right? You're really not. All right. I'm serious. You can go back. GM would train you. You'd actually go to a GM, plant or factory training facility. They would train you on how to build the car together. After you got trained, you get your little certificate, and then you went on the line and got to work. You know what I'm saying? So now we don't train people, we train robots. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously for doing that particular job now, but these folks out here are getting paid a lot of money to do some shit in the office. That I know that a lot of people out here could do at half the price if they were just willing to train. That's it. If they were just willing to train. Software development, all that stuff like that. These companies out here, they know what to learn. They know what they need. So go out there and train the people. Don't leave it up to institutions. Go out there, set up an academy. Tell people, hey, if you come to this academy, you pass, you get a job with us. That's what government should be doing. That's government should be saying, okay, we need to create this kind of incentive. You telling me there are people in the hood right now, in anywhere in America right now that wouldn't go to school for 8 weeks for Microsoft to go make $50,000 a year, 56, 50, 60, 65, 70 for a job they were paying some guy in India to do for $1.20? Yeah, a lot of Americans would do that. Said they train white women. Well, I mean, like that's like I said, white women in corporate America, that's the biggest hustle in the world right there. That's the biggest hustle in the world. The fact that they somehow were able to maneuver themselves to be considered victims of America. That's the biggest hypocrisy the civil rights generation has ever allowed. And that happened somewhere early to mid 1970s, where you had some women were like, yeah, we're women, we're victims too. And like, what? Last time I checked, last time I read the history books, when Massa died, Mary Ann got the plantation. So I don't know where the victim mentality is here. What I mean? Am I speaking truth or what? How I'm trying to figure out how they're minorities. I'm trying to still figure out how, but they are, as in the Civil Rights Act, you have women that get minority benefits, and they're not victims at all. Oh, hell yeah. You said they never admit. I let them know. I mean, because I don't work for nobody, so I let them know. I let them know. But that's the biggest, we're women, hear me roar. And now they're fucking up all the movies, putting a bunch of women, because they saw it was fading, right? They see it fading. And we're asking questions, so now they're kind of replacing themselves now. They're fucked up Star Wars. They're fucked up the Terminator. They're putting themselves in all this thing to just, I'm a woman, hear me roar. You know what I mean? Come on, man. You telling me the same woman calling police on me is out here going to save the, man, come on, man. I'm not even trying to get into that because people be thinking I'm, you know, that I'm sounding racist. Say all those movies flop. Oh, yeah, because they try to put feminism in it. They try to put feminism in all those movies. They fucked up Star Wars. Look what they did to Star Wars. They fucked that whole series is fucked up. All the Star Wars is fucked. It's gone. If you talk to hardcore Star Wars people, they don't even watch this shit. It's fucked. It's over. They let feminism come in there and just fuck it all up. Terminator 2. That Terminator, I didn't even see it, but everybody said it was fucking horrible. You know. It's crazy. It's man. I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm building this my new project right now is I'm building this travel blog for Africa. And because I can, yeah, like I said, I want to position myself when you know their economies really start taking off. I want to be able to have that blog out there to be the you know not the point of contact for news and all that, but just to be up there. You know what I mean? I just wanted to be to get hits. But one thing, I'm on the country of Ghana right now. There are people talking about going back to Ghana, and I've been reading a bunch of stories and stuff like that. So shout out to those people who are doing what they got to do, man, because I could perfectly understand people who are just like, man, I can't do it no more. And they just got to jump and leave their families and go to a whole different country. You know what I'm saying? Read one story, a dude who maxed out his credit cards, withdrew the money, and dipped. Like, fuck them. Do what you got to do, man. Dude went all the way back. Dude went back to Africa, literally. Born in America, grew up here, and just dipped out. Yeah. But I mean, I can understand if you feel like you don't have any job prospects, you feel like you're not making moves, you feel stuck, you feel like things just aren't happening, you're not getting a fair shot. I mean, you can't stay here and die. You got to do something. You got to do something. And, you know, if you've tried moving to another city to find work and that hasn't worked, then, yeah, maybe leaving the country is what it takes. You know? A lot of people who've had to do that over the course of world history. America got popping because motherfuckers in Ireland and England and Germany, they couldn't get it popping in their country, so they came here. They came here. They couldn't get it popping out there, so they ended up here. You know what I'm saying? Great granddad couldn't get it popping out in Germany, couldn't get it popping out in Ireland, couldn't get it popping in Italy, couldn't get it popping in wherever the hell you came from. So they came here. Shout out to Oliver Velez. I like Oliver Velez. I love what Oliver Velez is doing because he came out here and he was teaching people for many years, right? Almost 20 years teaching people how to, but they weren't giving him, you know, he wasn't getting the credit he deserved. And he was like, man, fuck it. I'm going to South America. I'm teaching my own people. And that's what he's doing. Now he's huge. He's huge in South America. Oliver Velez is huge in South America. If you look up his stuff, I mean, he's big time down there, man. Like, you know, you got a whole, like, he's got a whole academy and he sells out basically every time he puts on something. But he was another guy trying to teach people how to trade, make DVDs, and he did it for a long time. But again, you know, when some people can't, you know, and again, that was the early 90s. So I couldn't even imagine being somebody who a lot of time is confused for a brother, right? Because a lot of people think he's just black. He's just Afro, I don't know what is it Afro-Colombian, I think. Is he Colombian? I don't know what he is, but he's definitely got African ancestry though. But he just he couldn't get it. You know, he was getting into all kind of bullshit. So he went back out there and got it popping. So yeah, shout out to Oliver Velez. I couldn't really get. I've seen a couple of his DVDs though, but I couldn't get his strategy. I wasn't sure what exactly he was teaching, what I saw was just basically he's day trading large caps. So to do what he does, it does require quite a bit of capital. But I don't, it's been many years though. Say he's big on moving averages. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen his stuff though. Yeah. God damn, I went in hard with y'all today, man. Shit. Let me get up off this, man. I went in super hard with y'all today. Man. God damn, was this really 3 hours? I just be going, don't I? I just be going, man. Yes, indeed. Yeah, just like old times, baby. Shout out to all the people who came in to join me. I appreciate all of you. Like I said, I'm just trying to get regular again. Trying to get back in the swing of things, man. So it's natural for me. So I'm really feeling it. But Dawson's Uber Eat, I appreciate you. I appreciate all of y'all, man. Yeah, staying loyal to the team. I appreciate y'all, man. But I know a lot of people, they're just out doing their own thing, whether they not here with me in the live, but they still fuck with me. So I appreciate that. Everybody's learning on their own, doing what they got to do. As long as they're making money and being involved in the market, that's all I care about. You know what I'm saying? Just get your trade on, man. That's all I'm saying. Legendary 8s, appreciate you, man. The Golden Child, thank you so much. Have I ever seen the YouTuber Omni in the Hellcat? No. I'm going to take a look at that. I'm going to Google that. Hopefully I have something for you. My course is $100, man. Just $100. Hit your brother up with a C note. It pays for itself. I'm not trying to rip off the community. I'm going to get rich regardless. I don't care what nobody said. The formula works. 4% a month, 8%, 10%, as much as you can. The fact is, just get yourself in the market, aim high, reinvest, and keep going. You're going to get rich. All right? Use moving averages. Don't fight the system. Just watch the price action. It'll tell you everything. You don't have to guess. All right? You don't have to guess. Yes, indeed, man. Oh, absolutely, man. Appreciate all of y'all, man. Who else was in here? Money Green, thanks you again coming in. LK Ra, Legendary AIDS, Martin is God, Desert Edge, Jeff Saintil, The Golden Child, Life for a Business. Everybody who was in here, man. Shout out to all of you. See you here next time. I'm going to try to get up on Monday. But at least I do have to put some other shit out there too. All right, guys. Take care. Enjoy your families tomorrow. Trade well.